team members has a dilemma. We want you to help solve it for a $100 Waller's gift card. And later in the morning, we'll talk about the crisis at the SACE board with 51 staff members quitting over the last year. There's warnings that this could mean Year 12 students get their results back late. It might even be incorrect, which is surely totally unconscionable. And the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koch. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Hope you all had a good weekend. We had an absolute cracker. It was beautiful down at Aldinga all weekend. Went there straight after the show Friday, which was good. And just hung out. Went to the markets and went for a nice walk along the beach at Port Wellington. It was one of those weird spring days yesterday where you weren't sure if it was hot or cold. Did you find that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you were in the sun, it sometimes felt nice. Then a little breeze would come in and it'd feel cool.
We just went for a walk along the beach with the kids and we got there and had hoodies and everything. And we got out of the car and was like, my God, we need sunscreen. And then last night we had to put the heater on. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It was a truly spring weekend. It was like that on Saturday night. During the day, it felt okay. It was a decent enough day. But then we were in Elder Park going to the Asian dumpling market.
Oh, yeah.
Event.
Did you go to the Lantern Festival too? No, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all part of the same thing. And if you were down near the Torrens where the wind was suddenly coming off the water, it was icy.
Yeah,
it was seriously cold.
Would have been packed out, wouldn't it?
So we turned up thinking we'd done the smart thing. Saturday night, you've got Cheese Fest on one side of town, so we thought, well, that'll thin out the crowd. The kind of people that go to that would probably be the kind of people that go to the festival there at Elder Park. Not so. The lineup on the Torrens Park, the water side, so the Torrens side, was basically from, imagine it being in line with the Rotunda, and the lineup was back past the casino.
You're kidding?
Under Morfett Street Bridge.
You're joking?
That was the lineup.
The lineup was from the Rotunda up North Terrace and then, up King William Street, then down North Terrace.
No, sorry. So the lineup went along, hugging the Torrens along the footpath.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
But still, it was significant.
It's just to get in.
Just to get in, yeah.
You're kidding?
Yeah, so we went, we'll go dinner somewhere else. We waited till it thinned out.
I wonder if the organisers of the City to Bay Fun Run were looking at that, scratching their head.
I thought exactly the same thing. I thought this would be like a fun run if the fun run involved standing in a line.
Yeah, which it sort of does.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose you're jumping up and down a bit more than you are waiting to buy some noodles.
You're not wearing a mask because everyone's lined up outside.
Yeah.
You're outside the event.
It's all, you look at everything that's happening interstate now, and I mean, today, a lot of kids will be waking up this morning going, you beauty, I'm not taking that mangy mask to school with me. They used to know you need it on public transport to get to school.
But not in the classroom.
Not in the classroom.
Yeah.
Not in the classroom.
It's extraordinary. Dan Andrews has continued to be, he's the Formula One car of restriction relaxation, isn't he? He goes from 0 to 300 very, very quickly. He's now saying he wants 90,000 at the Boxing Day test.
90,000. He has changed tack quite dramatically, old Dan.
But he's saying at 90%. At 90%, it's game over.
Well, this is going to have to change things locally, isn't it?
Well,
we can't have a situation where we have 26,000 at the Adelaide test, and then absolute maximum capacity a few weeks later in Melbourne. Would look pretty silly, wouldn't it?
It's kind of the most likely outcome at this point, isn't it?
Possibly.
This is really bizarre switch happening. 4 weeks ago, you had the grand final happening in Perth because it was the only place it was going to happen. West Australia's facing a summer of sport now without the BBL might have to be away. The A-League won't be able to play there. There's a whole host of things now that potentially interstate sports they're going to be going without.
Is it up to the government though, or is it up to the community? Because the thing that's driving it is the vax rate. The thing that underpins it, and they're 90% first jab now in Victoria.
That's exactly right.
We're not.
No. They have been given... See, now it's switched from, it's been a survival instinct to there's hell of a lot of incentive. We haven't really kicked into the full incentive stage yet. There's been a vague promises of at 80% things will ease up and lockdowns won't happen.
Yeah.
But I think us, Northern Territory, Tasmania, look like at the moment the only states that haven't put together a concrete plan where at any given moment you can Google and say... When we hit this percentage mark, these things are all going to happen.
Oh, it should be this week, shouldn't it?
Well, it should be.
We'll wait and see. And see.
11 after 6. Our number is 8223 000. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line as well, 044808 1395 for all your observations. We've got lots to get through in news headlines. It's coming up right after this.
If you want to feel great about the milk you pour in your tea and coffee, over your cereal or in your smoothie, make sure it's from the FIVEaa Milk Company, because it's a great feeling buying from people who love SA as much as you do. 3 words make all the difference. FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. Phew, feel like a cuppa now.
FIVEaa Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FLURIOMilkco.com.au.
I don't have a favourite teacher because I've loved them all. They've taught me new things and I've always had fun in their class.
I've enjoyed learning about sports because I'm always focused.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Serafina, school captain at St Andrews. Book your place on one of our school tours this Thursday at 6 p.m. or Saturday at 10 a.m. Just Google St Andrews School.
Hi there, I'm Matt, a Specsavers optometrist. Did you know that every Specsavers is locally owned and operated by an optometrist just like me? We believe eye tests should reveal more, not cost more, which is why we include an OCT advanced 3D eye scan with every eye test at no extra charge. Does your optometrist? Experience the Specsavers difference and book your eye test today. We're here to look after your eye health and keep you safe in store. Visit specsavers.com.au.
G'day, it's Jason Hodges here. As a landscaper, I've seen plenty of lawns. Did you know there's more than 200 varieties of lawn in Australia? And the turf farm has checked out every last one of them and rejected 95% of them. Yep, they've got high standards. So, if you want a lawn that looks magnificent year-round, you need these guys, because the Turf Farm lawns come with the famous Lawn Solutions Australia 10-year warranty. Plus, they're great people. Create your happy place. theturffarm.com.au.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
We were singing bye.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
This'll be the day that I die.
14 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Monday morning. West Australian Police want to talk to the occupants of a vehicle seen driving near a campsite where 4-year-old Cleo Smith was last seen. More than a week ago now. Detective Superintendent Rod Wild revealed 2 witnesses spotted the vehicle between 3 and 3:30 last Saturday morning, travelling towards the town Carnarvon in WA's north. He says witnesses are considered credible sources, but police don't have a detailed description of the vehicle.
A sedan. Well, in saying that, I don't want to narrow it down to sedan as well. We don't believe it's a truck or a large vehicle. We believe it's a smaller vehicle, which would probably be a passenger vehicle. So without narrowing it down, a vehicle that was turning around that time, 3 a.m. to 3:30 a.m.
Do we know the colour of this vehicle?
No, we don't.
It's not what you call a hot lead, is it?
It's a really vague.
Believed to be a passenger vehicle. What does that even mean?
Yeah, not a truck.
We think it's a car. We're not sure what colour it is.
Yeah, and it may be a sedan, but it may not be.
It's looking terribly grim, that whole sad, just tragic story.
The latest news poll shows support for the coalition is at its lowest in 3 years. The Australian reports the primary vote for the Liberal Nationals has fallen to 35%. Voters also believe Labor would be better at leading Australia's strategy to tackle climate change. I'm usually sceptical of whenever this net zero dominates headlines and talk pieces, that it actually makes much of a material impact on voters, but that appears to be changing. Or at least news polls suggest that.
Is that the reason? Is that the only reason that
no,
ScoMo would have fallen?
No,
I mean,
no, it's not.
I think maybe it's not so much their lack of action on emissions, but the fact that they appear like they can't really sort of talk about anything else and they haven't achieved anything on it yet. Although they're close after yesterday, with the Nats falling in a line. I think a big part of it would be that because the premiers have so much direct control over the way we live our lives and have handed that control to health chiefs and police, he's just looked kind of redundant.
Well, and maybe that's borne out too in the net zero debate. So he's had to sit around always waiting for what the premiers are going to do on COVID, and now the government has to sit around waiting for the Nationals to come to some sort of agreement on net zero. So it feels like every major policy decision the government has to make, they're beholden to some other group. That's ostensibly a smaller entity than them.
He's got no actual authority. Or, I don't know. Has he got it? Or he just doesn't wield it. Other prime ministers have managed to keep the states in line. You know, Howard,
Yeah.
Hawke, Keating.
Yeah, well, Nationals leader Barnaby Joyce has conceded that the party needs to support net zero emissions to help win the next federal election. The Junior Coalition Party has agreed to decarbonise the Australian economy over the course of the next 30 years. The Nationals say they've sought assurances for farming and mining communities, but what the concessions are, well, we don't know. Mr Joyce says it's better to deal with this issue from government than in opposition.
So I would say to people in regional Australia, I understand some of the sentiments that are held there. I understand completely the suspicions at times that are held there. But I say to you, as earnestly as I can, there is no way we can deal with any of those if we are outside the tent.
We'll have more on that a little bit later in the morning, in fact, just after 7 o'clock. We're edging closer, South Australia, to the COVID vaccine targets needed to see restrictions and border closures eased. More than 14,000 people turned up for a jab during day one of the weekend blitz. We'll get the figures on what happened yesterday a little bit later today, which means we're right now at 79% have had first dose, 62% are fully protected, they're double dosed. The vaccination clinics and schools will also start today. 79%, I mean, that's starting to feel like we're 5 weeks away from having to, for something concrete to have to change.
It's still pretty patchy though. When you look region by
very
region,
patchy.
There's some areas which look like they're only just getting around to it.
Yeah, a vigil has taken place in New Mexico to mourn cinematographer Helena Hutchins after she was fatally shot on a US film set. Hutchins was shot by a prop gun by actor Alec Baldwin on the set of Western film Rust on Thursday. Baldwin had been told the gun was safe. Multiple witnesses, CNN and others in the US reporting this morning, he was handed the gun and as his practice, it turns out, everyone shouted cold gun, and repeated it to him.
What's cold gun, mate?
There's nothing in it.
Yeah, right.
And so he was wielding it, assuming that, multiple people had checked it and there was nothing there.
It's just the most horrible thing, isn't it? I couldn't believe it. Andy sent, you were on the text, he sent that text through Friday afternoon when it happened. And I looked at it, and, these days there's all these fake news sites and, satirical sites. I thought it was some sort of wind-up, like some sort of sick black humour sort of gag that someone had done. But then, it's confirmed, just extraordinary. Imagine having that on your conscience too.
Oh, well, you see there's awful pictures in the Tiser this morning. People will see them on TV news over the course of the day of him having breakfast with the
family,
the
kids.
father and the little kid.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, for what it's worth, we're going to speak with an armourer after 7 o'clock, an expert in this field, guns on sets. They just can't believe how it can happen.
Yeah.
The things after the Brandon Lee incident, there were extra protocols.
Bruce Lee's son, he got shot in the 1990s, didn't he?
He did. He was filming the movie Crow. And
that's right.
There was all sorts of precautions put in place after that meant this should never be able to happen. So none of the experts can get their head around how this happens.
Didn't one of Brandon Lee's family tweet out a message over the weekend too?
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
They said there's no reason that this should ever happen.
22, the expected top today. A week that, as David described, the weekend, it's going to be very spring-like. So tomorrow will be 31, sunny, winds pretty light. It's going to be a magical sort of a day. Wednesday, you've got 30 degrees at the top, but also 70% chance of rain. Shower or two developing up to 3 mils. The chance of a thunderstorm too when the change rolls in. It won't cool down massively on Thursday, but a bit. 27 on Thursday, but up to 6 mils of rain. Friday's when it gets cooler, but the rain eases, 19 with maybe just a mil. Saturday, 19, then warming up for Sunday, 22, sunny with light winds. So as is typical in spring, we're getting a bit of everything.
Overwhelming are the feelings of grief and loss. More so when you add the confusion and uncertainty of arranging a funeral. At Distinctive Funerals, we offer guidance through the hardest of times and clarity for the path ahead. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
These days, choosing the right home loan is like selecting a fine wine. You want one that suits your palate, that's been handpicked for you from a full range of options and has only gotten better and better over time. In fact, you want a mortgage choice broker who's got the nose for it and knows what you need.
Cheers.
Search Mortgage Choice for genuine advice and home loan options from your local expert.
It may not be that exciting to learn that Playford Pavers are one of the few companies that still make their own pavers on site. Riveting, isn't it? But what if I told you that because Playford Pavers make their own pavers for driveways, entertaining areas and pathways, you pay a lot less? How good is that? Pay less at Playford Pavers. Visit playfordpavers.com.au.
Drive your business further with a Renault Traffic van, like Daniel from Team Tank Logistics.
We rely on Renault Traffic to deliver freight safely. They're really fuel efficient and we get plenty of Ks out of a tank.
Renault Traffic from $39,990, drive away.
It's my business, it's my van.
Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Both are experts at what they do, so they've formed an alliance to help you. Whether you're buying or selling a business or somewhere in between, they'll work together, making sure the business you're going to sell or buy is in top shape. Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Experts in business support and sales. Ready to help you achieve your goals. Call them today. 8300 0000.
At Terry White Chemmart, get Telfast 50 tablets now $26.99. Save 30%. Nothing beats Telfast for fast, non-drowsy 24-hour action. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart. Always read the label. Follow the directions for use. Sale ends 2nd November 2021.
Overwhelming are the feelings of grief and loss. At Distinctive Funerals, we offer guidance through the hardest of times and clarity for the path ahead. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 after 6. Little addendum to the news headlines. Something to watch out for this morning. Certainly if you're waiting for a parcel anywhere across the country. FedEx workers are taking part in a nationwide strike today. They're pushing for better job security, pay conditions. The 24-hour stop work action means weekend shipments won't be distributed until tomorrow. So if you've been expecting something to come today, you might have to wait an extra 24 hours. The Transport Workers Union boss Richard Olsen says negotiations have broken down with the company.
They have reneged on conditions which were already agreed to by the union and its membership, and now they walk back on the word on that, and that just finds our position totally untenable to continue negotiating with the company until such time as they are prepared to sit down and discuss the matters that are really between the parties.
It already seems to be a delay for people getting parcels at the moment from interstate or overseas, especially right now. Things are taking. It's like it was 30 years ago.
But I think the thing is, it's just exploded so much.
Yeah.
And mainly because of lockdowns, obviously. But, you know, anyone who works in transport, they've had a good year and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us to talk sport. Save up to 15% on selected Nasco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. I hope you both had great weekends. Just for those rev heads out there wondering what's going on, there's a Formula One race on at the moment. I was just saying to someone yesterday, I reckon this rivalry between Verstappen and Hamilton has all the makings of one of the greats and probably what the sport needs.
Absolutely.
You know, they clearly don't like each other, and it's tight in this championship race. Now, at the moment, Hamilton is in the lead because Verstappen's just gone into the pits, but it is neck and neck and really big results. So we'll keep you updated throughout the morning. But winners and losers, boys, from the weekend. Well, last night I was watching a bit of sport. I was just saying to you before we came back from the break, I'm into this T20 World Cup, and it's always great when these two nations play. We don't see it often because of, unfortunately, what's going on politically, but they reckon, I'm just reading some numbers, around 500 million people would have watched this match last night. Pakistan and India.
500 million.
500 million. Now, the last time they played, of course, was here at Adelaide Oval in 2019. They haven't played a test in 14 years. India won't allow Pakistan's players to play in the IPL. It's that emotional and charged between these two nations. But the winner is Pakistan. They have smashed the tournament favourites India by 10 wickets. So India are my big losers from cricket. Pakistan my big winners. That's a huge result for them.
You know, the day that they played down the Oval, apparently they sold out of Gatorade, but they sold like 2 beers.
Yeah, they wouldn't have sold...
Like 2 beers.
Yeah, much alcohol at all.
Like the Gary McIntosh bar, they're just standing there like some Western, just, you know, one lonely staff member with a cloth just cleaning glasses.
Not actually doing anything.
Nah.
Or having to. So Pakistan, my big winners, India, the losers, and the Aussies I'll give a win as well, albeit they fell over the line in their match against South Africa. In some soccer, those waking up again this morning, my big winner is Mo Salah. He's the best player in the world right now. For mine, pretty comfortably. He scored a hat-trick against Manchester United, who are my big losers. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might be on his way out. They are woeful at the moment.
He was defiant after the game. He's making all the noises that he's not going to go of his own volition.
Yep.
This was 5-0, wasn't it?
5-0
5-0
at Old Trafford.
So Man United lost at home 5-0 to Liverpool.
Against probably their biggest
Wow.
rival. Now, people would say Manchester City, but the Liverpool, Manchester United rivalry is a deep and long one. So that's a huge loss at home. My other big winner from the weekend, Darcy Brown, yesterday, teenager first Adelaide women's striker player to take a hat-trick, so she gets a big tick for me. That was a great result for her. And the other one that I didn't think was great from the weekend, and look, I'm not sure, I probably don't watch enough races closely to know whether or not it should have been upheld or it should have been dismissed, but the Cox Plate, there was a protest that went for a good half an hour. Now, to me, a layman, and I'd be much happy to defer to others who might be out listening, but the stewards took an awfully long time. It looked to me like there was a fair bit of interference on the home straight with Animo that I think would have won had it not been interfered with by the winner. So I just didn't think it was a great look, and I thought probably the wrong result from the weekend with the Cox Plate. I don't know if you saw it, but Craig Williams just seemed to edge in as Animo was about to take the lead on the inside, completely stopped its run, and the owners and connections are still furious.
So 30 minutes later they say all clear?
All clear.
Ooh. You didn't have a dog in that fight, did you, Tom?
I didn't have a dog in that fight, so I'm pretty happy about that, to be honest.
That's good.
And I'll just give a couple of winners, the Braves and Atlanta Braves and Houston Astros, both through to the World Series. Let's hope that the Houston Astros, though, aren't another loser. Remember a few years ago, they got done, didn't have the World Series title taken away from them, Will, even though they had someone on the sidelines banging drums because they
that
had
coding system they
They had a coding system. And
there was 2 bangs for a curveball and
one for a fastball.
One for a fastball.
Should have had the World Series. For mine,
That's right.
should have had the World Series taken away from them.
It was totally disgraceful.
Isn't that's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's shocking. It's shocking. And I suspect they're not exactly going to be America's team coming into the World Series here.
Excellent.
So they are my winners and losers
Good stuff,
from the weekend,
Rennie.
boys. Good on you.
Beautiful,
As
Tom.
always, Tom Wren, terrific wrap of everything going on right around the world. Save up to $800 on selected ASCO washer dry packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Our number is 8223 Some texts already coming in on a range of subjects. We'll get to some of those shortly. The Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 0448 08 1395.
This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Sunny and 22 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
It's day 1 of the COVID vaccination program in our schools. Up to 1,600 doses will be administered this week at schools across the metro area, from Para Hills in the north to Ranella East south of the city. It's designed to boost the low vaccination rates among SA teenagers. And there'll be no masks in the classroom today. They're no longer mandatory. We'll find out whether the vaccination blitz over the weekend was a success when the figures are released today. Numbers were up on Saturday with more than 14,000 people rolling up their sleeves for a jab on day 1. The Nationals admit climate change has been difficult to put into policy for the best part of a decade. The junior coalition partner has agreed to support a net zero emissions target after securing concessions for regional communities. Cabinet will meet to discuss the finer details and ratify the plan. National Senator Bridget McKenzie says the party could not ignore the needs of farming and mining communities.
For the last 10 days has stood up for our people in this place, the most marginalised people in this country, very far away, out of sight, out of mind, and they've only got one small group of people in this place to stand up for their needs and interests, which we have.
Today's news poll is not a good look for the coalition. Support is at its lowest level in 3 years. Labor are ahead 54 to 46, two-party preferred. Tasmania has once again been ranked Australia's best performing state. Nine's Rhiannon Solomon-Marin reports.
The island state's economy is the country's strongest for the 7th quarter in a row, but the latest ComSec State of the States report shows there isn't much separating the rest of the contenders. The ACT has come in second, while New South Wales and Western Australia are equal third. South Australia and Victoria are equal fifth, with Queensland and the Northern Territory rounding out the final two. ComSec's chief economist says the chance of Tasmania losing the top spot would depend on vaccination rates and the reopening of foreign and state borders. The report shows the country's economy is in good shape overall and unemployment is historically low.
WA police are trying to track down the occupants of a car as investigations continue into the disappearance of Cleo Smith. Police say 2 witnesses spotted the vehicle near the campsite where the 4-year-old vanished just over a week ago. The Transport Workers Union is pushing for the government to better regulate the parcel delivery sector. FedEx workers are striking nationwide today in a bid for better pay and job security. It's the latest company to take industrial action, forcing further delays for parcel deliveries. The union's Richard Olsen says the industry should have better regulations overall.
Unfortunately, our rules are very laxed here in Australia. We see the continuation of very poor industrial relations from America and abroad. Amazon and FedEx, both originating in America, has imported their industrial relations wares here into Australia, and we're now paying the price for that.
Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Asco washer dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. We'll start with some Formula One news, and the race is on in Texas at the moment. It's just gone past the halfway point. Lewis Hamilton currently leading the way ahead of Max Verstappen. To cricket, Pakistan has beaten India by 10 wickets as the T20 World Cup gets underway. India made 7 for 151 from their 20 overs. Pakistan, though, didn't lose a wicket, passing the total with 13 balls to spare. There was one other match too last night with Sri Lanka, 5-wicket winners against Bangladesh. Well, Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under even more pressure to keep his job after a 5-0 humiliation at the hands of rivals Liverpool. Mohamed Salah slipped through early in the second half with an Old Trafford hat-trick in his sights.
And he captures the moment. The man is extraordinary. The match is extraordinary. The scoreline is extraordinary.
The Atlanta Braves are through to their first World Series in 22 years after a 4-2 win against the LA Dodgers. The Braves securing the best-of-7 result in front of elated fans.
Here's a 1-0. And on the ground, Swanson, he's got it to his feet, throw to first. There it is! The Atlanta Braves are going to the World Series!
Audio there thanks to ESPN. They'll take on the Houston Astros now in that World Series. And Hideki Matsuyama has thrilled fans in his native Japan after winning the Zozo Championship in his home country. He beat American duo Brendan Steele and Cameron Tringale by 5 shots, while Aussie Matt Jones finished in a tie for 18th, 13 shots back. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Heading for a top of 22 today and sunny. Sunny tomorrow 31. Wednesday a shower or two developing and 30. Right now it's 8 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 minutes to 7. Have you got a bad habit? Maybe it's an unhealthy habit, just a bad habit. I don't want to lead you too much. The Queen does. It's got her into some health mischief. We'll get into that in just a few moments' time. Sally's texted us on the Telstra Stormount Barker text line. Sally says, "Morning, David and Will. I can't believe we still don't have a roadmap out of the pandemic. I saw on the weekend that Queensland vaccination rates have jumped since they announced their roadmap. Surely this should be a priority. There are lots of small businesses out there that are looking for some certainty." Well, we're thinking this week.
Yeah.
Well, we're not calling it a roadmap. What are we calling it?
What was the term Grant Stevens used? Post-COVID strategy?
Yeah, it doesn't really roll off the tongue like roadmap. We all understand what
everyone
roadmap
will call
means.
it a roadmap anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Just the generic term. In our defence, Sally, Queensland, they need to jump. They're far and away the lowest state. They're six out of 6. But, we certainly don't want them overtaking us, so good point.
Yeah, absolutely. 24 minutes to 7. The Royal Aids have been quoted in publications in the UK claiming that the Queen's habit of watching late-night TV. She's been binging TV. It's left her, and these are direct quotes, knackered. She was hospitalised, of course, last week.
Very real term for it, surely.
Well, she's burning the candle at both ends.
Do we know what she watches?
Yeah, the 95-year-old reportedly is taken to staying up late. She watched all of Wimbledon. I think that got her in trouble. Albeit Wimbledon in the UK, I think we're the ones with the time difference. That one I don't quite get. But also she's a big fan of the BBC cop show Line of Duty.
I don't know.
What if we've got any listeners that watch Line of Duty?
Line of Duty.
8223 text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. So the Queen's just got herself into trouble binging TV late at night.
If Wimbledon's anything like the Australian Open, it could go till really late, because we have Australian Open matches that finish at 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's true. But I suppose if she's watching that and then ploughing through 4 or 5 episodes of Line of Duty,
yeah,
suddenly it gets late.
Well, she's 95, and I don't know. Every elderly person I've known, like relatives and thinking neighbours like Uncle Bill, most people as they get older tend to go to bed earlier and get up earlier.
Yes.
So she's gone the other way.
No, she is. She's in. Generally speaking, she's got all. The Queen is remarkable for how little deterioration she seems to have had with age. She's just had the walking stick. She hates it. She had one previously when she had some work done. She's got all her faculties. She doesn't look different.
She's looked the same for about 30 years,
She seems to have all of her speed and her wit and her ability to engage people.
Do you reckon she watched The Crown?
No, I bet they didn't. It sounds to me like they actively avoid all that kind of stuff.
Didn't the Palace actually put out a statement too saying this is not actual history?
Yes, they have repeatedly.
They've had a few cracks about it.
They have their friendly people out there that will come out and say the historical accuracy of this episode was off because they did this, that, and the other thing. That like to point out that it is all fairy tales. It would be hard to watch a fictionalised version of all the toughest moments of your life.
Well, particularly too as the Queen, like watching the episodes about her marriage to the Duke in the 1950s and 60s, when he looked like he was a bit of a lair. He's a bit of a lad. He was out with that gentleman's group that he used to have lunch with, and then he'd disappear for the night and drive around in his flash sports car. And the other thing too, the relationship between him and Charles. It doesn't come across very well from the Crown.
That said, she comes across terrifically well.
Yeah, she does.
She comes off wonderfully.
But she'd find that. I think she'd find that bracing, because she'd go, well, that's not.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not the sole person. Like, I think she'd find the portrayal of the Duke and Charles very unflattering.
You know what the hard thing would be? It would be the fictionalised showing of something where you were heroic, where it's been made out that you did something, you were great, and you were the reason something happened, and the country got on with it.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, I said that one thing that someone had written for me, and that hollow feeling where you're taking credit for something you don't feel actually responsible for.
I don't know.
That'd be bizarre.
Is that a hollow feeling, Will?
20 to 7. If you've got an unhealthy habit, we'd like to hear it. The Queen does. 8223 takes after my parents, incidentally. They do the same thing.
Yeah, they're into it, aren't they?
They binge TV late, well into the wee hours of the morning all the time. I don't know how they do it. Rob says, guys, it would be funny if the Queen was addicted to the home shopping network. Lisa, perhaps rather uncharitably, says the Queen's finally got her hand on the remote. 20 minutes to 7, 8223 is our number. You can text us at any time on any subject. Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 044808 1395. Let's check traffic. Do you have an existing BMW inclusive package where you can book your next service at Glenelg BMW? Oh, we might do a traffic in just a moment.
How do you know if the milk you're buying is local? Easy. Just look for 3 words. FIVEaa Milk Company. If the bottle you pick up has those 3 words on it, FIVEaa Milk Company, it's guaranteed to be local. It's guaranteed to be fresh too. And the big plus, you're supporting SA dairy farmers, and for that, we're forever grateful. 3 words. FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. For professional tilers, National Tiles stocks the world's best brands of adhesives, grouts, silicons, tools, levelling and pedestal systems. Yes, the world's leading brands including Marpay, MaxiSeal, Sigma, Raimondi, Clippert and more. So if you're a professional tiler who demands the very best in adhesives, tools and other accessories, you must, absolutely must check out the amazing range at National Tiles now. National Tiles. Number one with all the very best professional tilers.
Leon here. My friends at Zen Energy want you to know that the price of solar is going up in January because of changes in federal rebates. Get in now to have your system installed before Christmas and make the most of our summer sun. I trust Zen Energy for my renewable energy needs and recommend them to anybody who asks. So, mention FIVEaa and get at least $500 off your system. Visit zenenergy.com.au. That's zenenergy.com.au.
South Australia's health system is at breaking point. If it was a patient, it would be in need of urgent and intensive care. Record numbers of older people languishing in hospital while they wait for an aged care bed is just one of the many symptoms of the squeeze on our health system. Chronic ramping of ambulances is common, and emergency departments are regularly over capacity. With the community now at risk, it's time for urgent action. Help stop the squeeze. Go to actionforhealth.com.au. Written and authorised by Ida Bars, ANMF, SA Branch, Rillington, SA.
APIA's $100,000 Go Live It Up giveaway gives you the chance to win one of 10 $10,000 cash prizes. To enter, purchase or renew an eligible home, contents or car insurance policy with APIA. Call us today on 13 50 50. APIA. Get set. Go. APIA is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Read the PDS before buying insurance. TMD also available. Call us for a copy. Competition ends 14th of the 12th of 21 AEDT. Full TNCs at apia.com.au/APIA cash giveaway. Permits SA T21/1456.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Billy, don't be a hero. Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
16 minutes to 7. I think we'll find out our traffic-related issues. So here it is. Thanks to Glenelg BMW, they're now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today. I spoke too soon. No, doesn't look like we have.
We do have Matt Brown from SAPOL there.
Exactly.
We can do that. Let's
well,
do
if there's anything really serious happening traffic-wise, Matt will know.
Exactly.
Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL. Morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, we're all right. Safe.
What's the traffic issue that you need help with?
Well, we just can't hear it. We're being told. We just which is problematic in our line of work when no one can hear anything.
Maybe it's a no news is good news scenario, and there's no traffic dramas to report. Is there,
I'm
we've
just
got you,
checking
mate.
the
Is there
list,
anything?
guys. I can't see anything on the list of no traffic hazards or crashes on the way to work. So,
that's good.
Well, maybe that's it. Problem solved.
Maybe they've taken the morning off then.
Yeah, that's right. Time for coffees there.
Yeah. I suppose you guys can't do that in SAPOL, can you, mate? You can't say, well, nothing's happened, so we'll just go home.
Generally not. It's the Commissioner frowns upon that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's get to some of your core business. A man's been arrested after a stabbing and arson at Underdale.
That's right. Well, police will allege about 2:30am today, patrols and emergency services were called to a share house on Henley Beach Road after reports that one of the residents had stabbed another male resident in the neck with a small knife. Now, the victim wasn't seriously injured and he was taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital for treatment of minor injuries. Now, the suspect had also poured accelerant throughout the house prior to the stabbing, with one of the rooms damaged by fire. And patrols used capsicum spray to subdue the suspect, and he was arrested soon after. And so the 32-year-old man will face numerous charges, including aggravated assault causing harm and arson, and it is expected that he will be refused bail to appear in the Port Adelaide Magistrates Court later today.
Matt, also, there's been a robbery at the On the Run on the parade.
That's right, David. Just after 12:30am today, police were called to the service station on the parade after a hold-up alarm was activated by a staff member when a youth had entered the service station and informed the console operator that they had a weapon and then demanded cash. So an amount of cash was stolen and the youth was last seen on foot heading south on Elizabeth Street. The console operator wasn't injured and no weapon was cited by staff members, but the suspect is described as being of Caucasian appearance, about 15 years old, 155 centimetres tall and slim build. They were wearing black framed glasses, black Adidas tracksuit pants, black puffer jacket, black sports shoes, and also had covered their hands with black socks. But anyone with information may be able to assist police is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Good on you, Matt. Thank you for that. Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPO. Let's talk weather. Tom Bowick on duty at the Weather Bureau. Tom, looks like we've got a pretty nice day on the way.
Yes, if you're after a bit of sunshine, looks like just the right day for you, Dave Will. So 22 degrees today for a maximum with just sort of an easterly airstream, off to a bit of a cool start. It's 7.3 degrees at 6:30 this morning at West Terrace, so pretty cool. But certainly sunny conditions today, as you said. 22 for Adelaide and Glenelg, 21 for Mount Barker and Lunga, 23 for Elizabeth. Warming up for the Tuesday-Wednesday period, then still sunny on Tuesday, but winds turning northerly and the temperature right up to 31 degrees. So a jump in temperature there, and that looks like continue on Wednesday with a maximum of 30 degrees. But we'll start to see some cloud and some shower activity coming in. There's a trough moving across from the west, so a high chance of showers coming in, most likely for the sort of afternoon and evening period, and even a chance of a thunderstorm in there as well with some instability moving from the west. So, some weather coming in there for Wednesday, and that'll continue on Thursday with a shower or two and 27 for a maximum. So not quite a change yet, but still likely to be some shower activity around and possibly even still a thunderstorm around. Then for Friday, we do get into the western part of the trough there, which is cooler with the south-southwesterly airstream, 19 degrees for a maximum and a shower or two in that cooler airstream. Possible shower just left for Saturday and 19 degrees. Next Sunday, we're looking at 22 degrees and sunny conditions there, guys.
Good stuff, Tom. Thanks for that. A lot of love for the Queen's taste in TV.
Yes,
on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line.
Yeah, we'll get to some of your texts in just a moment. 12 minutes to 7. We'll also be off to the US. Then after 7 o'clock this morning, we're going to chat with a movie set armourer, someone with an expert in providing weaponry and things that are meant to look lifelike but not be lifelike. Well, unfortunately, that wasn't the case on set of Rust, where Helena Hutchins, the cinematographer, was killed in the last couple of days. We'll try and work out how in the hell that could have happened after 7 today.
It's me, Santa. 2021 has been a tough year, and I'd like to wish every South Australian a very Merry Christmas. Except Stephen Marshall, who is once again being a Grinch. This year, he's making South Australia the only Australian state where Christmas Day isn't a public holiday. So thousands of South Australian workers will not receive public holiday penalty rates for working on Christmas Day. I'll be skipping your house, Stephen Marshall.
Authorised Josh Peak, SDA Union, Kent Town.
Here at FIVEaa, we're all about supporting local. Here's who you can support around Adelaide. Booze Brothers. With their expert advice, you'll find the perfect drop. Booze Brothers, the Unley, Avenues Tavern, Mile End Hotel, the Duck Inn or online. Want to get away and follow your dreams? Get into Adelaide Custom Caravan Super Centre and check out their huge range of new and used vans available for immediate delivery. FIVEaa, supporting local business. FIVEaa's Business Lounge with Leith Forest.
So flying is a career that many of us imagine, but few of us dare to chase. Flight Training Adelaide are a world-class training organisation that's located in Parafield Airport. Joining me today is Bianca, a flight instructor from Flight Training Adelaide. Welcome, Bianca.
Hi, Leif.
What are some of the things that you look for that show promise in a potential pilot?
We look for maths and science. It's particularly handy, but having somebody who's hardworking, willing to learn, a great communicator.
Bianca, as a woman in aviation, what changes are you noticing in the industry?
I find now is a great time to encourage more women to get into aviation, really bringing young people as well as women up from that 10% of commercial aviation pilots.
And what's it like being an instructor?
It's brilliant for me. I'm a mum. I get to drop my daughter to school in the morning, go flying all day and then pick her up in the afternoon. It's the best thing you could ask for. You don't get a better view.
That is true. Thank you, Bianca. If you know someone who'd make the next great pilot, tell them to head to flyfta.com. You can register for the free pre-selection test with Flight Training Adelaide.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 to 7, we're off to the US shortly. What's the saying? Third time lucky. We're going to try it again. It's time to check traffic. No, not third time lucky. I'm just going to go back to the musical theme. No, we won't do that. You know what we might do is get to some texts. There's some terrific ones coming through on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Tessa in Paraka says, my bad habit is waiting for Mel Usher to read the weather before I get up. If I miss it, I have to wait till the next round. That's not bad. I don't mind that. So you've effectively got the Mel Usher alarm every 30 minutes to go off. The reason we're talking bad habits is the Queen has been... Well, it's been outed in the press in the UK for staying up late binge-watching television. That's part of the reason she's having some health troubles at the moment, and it appears this is the culprit. It's the theme to Line of Duty. We weren't familiar with it, but gee, our listeners are.
Yeah, we've got a whole stack of messages here on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Guy in Highgate says, great taste from her Madge. Sharon at Port Lincoln says, good morning, guys. Line of Duty, it's about a British cop and corruption team. It's up to season 6. And then she adds, we're talking about older people traditionally going to bed earlier. She says, well, my 93-year-old friend stays up until 11ish and wakes up late. One here from Helen says, I love Line of Duty. I didn't know the Queen and I had so much in common. And she also says that if the Queen had watched the Cox Plate, she would have said that it was definitely interference. She knows her horse racing. And Craig in Golden Grove as well says it's the tour of Line of Duty is along the lines of the Bill, but more dramatic and intense. Also, the police sergeant in the show, actor Adrian Dunbar, is currently doing a documentary on SBS about the British Isles. So there you go. Plenty of people. It sounds like a good show, actually.
Yeah, people have sold it. I tell you what, the Queen's into anti-corruption. She might not want to know that she can tune into the New South Wales ICAC each and every day too. That's probably that's
going to be very entertaining this week.
That probably kicks off about the time she's usually going to bed now.
Yeah.
Let's not suggest it. We need to get better, Her Majesty. 7 to 7. Let's head to the US. Tim Lester for 7 News is on the line. And Tim, we've spent a little bit of the morning already reflecting on this awful tragedy on a film set in the United States. What's the latest?
Well, a couple of details coming out, guys. In fact, there's been this steady trickle of details and of opinions, frankly, ever since it occurred Thursday late here in the US. And the latest being some pictures to show that the actor at the centre of it all has met the family of the woman, the cinematographer, that he accidentally shot dead, Helena Hutchins' husband and 9-year-old son, meeting Alec Baldwin at a hotel in Santa Fe near the scene of the disaster and linking up with him. This is, many people cast their opinions, not least Helena Hutchins' father. She says she doesn't think Alec Baldwin was responsible. Of course, he was handed the weapon and apparently told cold gun, which is meant to signify, of course, that the weapon is safe just before he pulled the trigger, killing Helena Hutchins and injuring Joel Souza, the director. But others have said that Alec Baldwin should simply never have pointed a weapon at anybody on a set, even if it was a cold gun. So that debate has a long and tragic way to run, guys.
Has there been any discussion, Tim, about whether he might end up facing charges over this?
Yes, there's certainly some discussion along those lines, and the general feeling is that it's still possible, though a lot of the sentiment now, including from Helena Hutchins' father, seems to be reasonably forgiving and as positive as they can be in the circumstances towards Baldwin, acknowledging his grief afterwards, apparently inconsolable for a couple of hours after the shooting, and also acknowledging his effort with the family to link up with them. So far, there seems to be sympathy and understanding for him. It's some of those who had specific control of that weapon who are now right in the spotlight in terms of answering what went wrong here.
And Tim, do we know any more about Brian Laundrie since his remains were found last week?
No, and autopsy appears to have been inconclusive. Doesn't tell us anything in terms of how he died. We do know that he was the only person of interest to police in the disappearance of Gabby Petito, his girlfriend. It does increasingly just look like a terrible tragedy, and therefore no one will ultimately be brought to justice over this case.
Yeah, pretty bleak way to end it all, unresolved for her family, which is always going to plague them for sure. Thanks for that, Tim.
Absolutely. Good on you.
Tim Lester for 7 News in the United States. Should we try the traffic one more time, Dave? Just for the fun of it. What do you think?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be pressing that button.
Andy is pointing with the conviction of a man who knows the problem is fixed.
Okay.
In other words, we'll blame Andy.
Good morning. At Main Lanes, expect delays Portrush Road at McGill Road for those intersection upgrade works. Gets pretty slow throughout the morning. Crafers, speed restrictions both directions for ongoing works. Plus this morning, got a right-hand lane closed on the down tracks, actually in the tunnels. Leave early if you're heading that way. And Northfield, standard roadworks there. Grand Junction Road and Hampstead Road. Slow going, speeds down to 40 k's. Cameras, Gorge Road, Campbelltown, Grave Street, Newton. Hungry? How about a burrito or bowl from Guzmani Gomez for just $9.90? Pulled pork, grilled chicken, slow-cooked beef and more, just $9.90 on the GYG app. Download the app and order now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
3 minutes to 7. Coming up a little bit later in the morning, we'll talk about the crisis on the SACE board, where 51 people have quit over the course of the last 12 months. They're so understaffed, there's concerns about Year 12s getting their results this year, which then has a flow-on effect for universities. And of course, Monday morning is Koshi Day. This was pretty alarming out of the US on the weekend. Did you happen to catch up with the comments from Conservative TV host Candace Owens about Australia?
Oh, is this Australia on its knees?
Well, it could be worse than that.
For the last 20 years, the United States has spent trillions of dollars overseas in Afghanistan fighting a war, which we lost, by the way. We were told that the war was necessary anyway. It was necessary, the slaughtering of American sons and daughters on foreign soil, because we were fighting a noble cause, to spread democracy in a tyrannical land, to free an oppressed people. So I'm going to ask those same lecturing politicians and media members a question now. When do we deploy troops to Australia? When do we invade Australia and free an oppressed people who are suffering under a totalitarian regime? When do we spend trillions of dollars to spread democracy in Australia? Australia currently, make no mistake, is a tyrannical police state. Its citizens are quite literally being imprisoned against their will. So when do we deploy?
I just want to know how you got to the noodle markets. Now managed to take the family for a nice walk along Port Wollonga and go to the Wollonga markets on Saturday.
It's all part of a careful ruse that convinces us we're free when we're not.
She's been watching, what's his name, Avi Yemeni videos on Twitter about what's going on in Melbourne. She might get a more favourable hearing from long-suffering Victorians than from South Australians.
That's true.
Seriously? The whole logical premise of it is 20 years ago we had to go to war with the Taliban. Now it's the Andrews government.
If the US does go to war with us, whose team are Western Australia on? That'll be my first question.
That's true.
And secondly, I'm just trying to tease this out, because under the ANZUS alliance, if either party is invaded, it compels the other to come to their defence. So I suspect it would result in US civil war.
Well, the other thing would be, like contractually, under the terms of the agreement, we might have to send troops to support
that's
the
US. A good point. It's going to get very messy.
And it'd probably be our normal sort of, 2,000 sort of additional troops or...
Yeah, tokens or...
Logistical backup, a bit of radar monitoring or something like that. But it's nice that they care, though, isn't it?
Well, it's good.
In their own completely mental yank way.
I think you're right. That's the Americans' way of saying, we love you.
Yeah, that's right.
7 o'clock, 5AA News Time.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 22 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved repairer.
An arrest has been made after a stabbing at Underdale. Police were called to a share house on Henley Beach Road at 2:30 this morning, following reports one of the occupants had stabbed another male resident in the neck with a small knife. Senior Constable Matt Brown says a fire was then started.
Now, the suspect had also poured accelerant throughout the house prior to the stabbing, with one of the rooms damaged by fire. And patrols used capsicum spray to subdue the suspect, and he was arrested soon after. And so the 32-year-old man will face numerous charges, including aggravated assault causing harm and arson.
There's been a hold-up at Norwood. The on-the-run was targeted around 12:30 this morning. The offender said they had a weapon and fled with cash. They're described as Caucasian, age 15 and 155 centimetres tall with a slight build. SA is edging closer to the COVID vaccination targets needed to see restrictions and border closures eased. More than 14,000 people rolled up their sleeves for a jab on day one of the weekend blitz. Yesterday's figures will be released today. 79% of South Aussies have now had their first dose. 62% are fully protected. The vaccination clinics in our schools will start today. 8 schools across the metro area will be taking part this week. And from today, masks are no longer mandatory in high schools. The British government is resisting calls to bring back restrictions as singer Ed Sheeran tests positive to COVID. Nine's Brett McLeod has more.
In a post on Instagram, the pop star revealed his COVID diagnosis, apologising to fans who were waiting for live appearances ahead of this week's release of his new album. Britain's Health Minister, Sajid Javid, conceded winter poses the greatest threat to Britain's recovery from the virus. But Boris Johnson says booster shots are the country's way through. In Russia, meantime, where only 36% of the population is fully vaccinated, they've had a record 1,000 deaths in 24 hours, just ahead of a week-long shutdown.
National Senator Matt Canavan is describing a net zero deal as a green fantasy. The junior coalition partner has agreed to decarbonise the Australian economy over the next 30 years. The Nationals have sought assurances for farming and mining communities, but what concessions were agreed to by the Liberals remains unknown. Senator Canavan has told Today he doesn't support the decision.
Don't forget that net zero is just another word for big government telling you what to eat, what to drive, what type of electricity you can use, and I actually believe people should make those own decisions.
The corruption hearing into former New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian will this morning hear from her former deputy, John Barilaro. ICAC is investigating whether Ms Berejiklian and former MP Daryl Maguire, who were in a secret relationship, breached public trust. Ms Berejiklian and Mr Maguire will give evidence later this week. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to 15% on selected Asco cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. There's only a few laps remaining in the US Grand Prix in Texas, and it's tight between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Verstappen currently leading by less than 2 seconds. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo is in 5th place. Meantime, Frenchman Fabio Quartararo has claimed his first ever MotoGP World Championship after a 4th place finish was enough for him to claim it in Italy overnight. The race was won by Spain's Marc Marquez. Well, Pakistan is celebrating after an emphatic 10-wicket win against bitter rivals India in their opening match at the 2020 World Cup. India's top order struggled before Virat Kohli steadied the innings with 57 to help his side reach 7 for 151. But it wasn't enough as openers Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan were the stars, with unbeaten half-centuries to help their side cruise home with 13 balls to spare.
Just a single. Are they going to get a second here? They're charging back for the second. This could be the moment. This is the moment. And all of Pakistan will celebrate, as will these two young men out there.
Audio there thanks to Fox Sports. There was one other match overnight with Sri Lanka 5-wicket winners against Bangladesh. To soccer, and Liverpool's up to second on the EPL table following a dominant 5-0 drubbing of Manchester United at Old Trafford. And Leicester has jumped into the top half of the table with a 2-1 win against Brentford, while West Ham beat Tottenham 1-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Maylands, expect delays on Portrush Road at McGill Road for the intersection upgrade. Crayford, speed restrictions on the freeway, both directions for works. Right-hand lane closed on the down track through the tunnels. And Marston, works are causing delays on Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace. That is in both directions. Got cameras Anzac Highway, Glandor, Birdwood Terrace, North Plimpton, and Mortimer Streets at Karata Park. Anaconda Monopara opens this Saturday. Come down and celebrate with mega deals. First 100 customers get a $50 gift card. Head to 600 Main North Road this Saturday. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Sunny 22 today, sunny tomorrow 31, Wednesday a shower or two developing and 30. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7:06. In a moment, we're going to chat with an armourer, which is the official title of people who work on movie sets that handle the guns and other things that are potentially dangerous, and very much were in the case of Helena Hutchins, who was killed on the movie set over the weekend. That's coming up. Also, this half hour, we've got we'll wrap the weekend in sport with Stephen and Roe, and then after 7:30, we've got a teammate in need of some help. David, teammate in need of some help.
Who is it this time?
Well, it's
not Lucy in her wrist again. She hasn't done the other one, has she?
It's not Lucy's wrist. That part of it is incorrect. But there's a $100 Waller's gift card.
It's not me, is it?
If someone can help out. No, it's not you.
It's not going to be some sort of on-air intervention.
Yeah, our friend David needs our help.
Yeah, right,
he needs our support.
What was that thing in Breaking Bad? The talking cushion?
Oh, yes, no, we're not doing that. Keith's called in. Morning to you, Keith.
Good morning, boys. How are you going this morning?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Keith.
I'm just going to say something about Candace Owen. I actually listened to her podcast and her Daily Wire specials and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And over in America at the moment, they have actually their front pages and stuff like that, like New York Times, have put out saying that America is going. Candace Owen wants America to invade Australia.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're just playing.
They took it right out of context.
So what was the context?
The context was Candace Owen wants, where Candace Owen says, how about, suggested to a point that not to invade Australia, but what if?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The
Right.
subtlety's lost on me a bit, Keith. It just still sounds like a pretty crazy concept, doesn't it?
No, what she was trying to say was that with America's involvement on all the different parts overseas in tyrannical governments, it was just a hypothetical.
Yeah, so you said their point was more that if they're consistent with what they've done in the past, Australia would be next. It's probably a distinction.
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't
We've had
rest
our
easy.
criticisms of the lockdown. It doesn't feel like it's quite got to that, though, still.
Yeah. 987. Appreciate the call, Keith. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
822 or text us on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. Let's get to some of what the Australian government has been up to, or at least part of it. The Nationals have been the focus of the course of the last couple of weeks with regard to their position on net zero emissions by 2050. Well, they emerged from a 2-hour party room meeting with a promise to back Scott Morrison's plan. The move comes a week out from the UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow, and here's a little bit of what Barnaby Joyce had to say.
The easy decision would be to say no and join other people and screaming and yelling from the sidelines, having absolutely no influence on where the decision went. The details of that negotiated settlement will remain private.
That's the bit that I think is difficult to wrap your head around. So they've come to this position to say we're going to back it on the basis that some terms were agreed to, but they're going to remain secret.
How are they going to remain secret? Because purely the terms have been agreed to for the benefit of the community.
Exactly.
Like it would be like, say when competition policy was brought in for the dairy industry. A huge part of the negotiations then by the Nats in the 90s were, well, we can't just shut, half the dairy farms in Australia. We've got to pay them out. So what, they're setting themselves up to fail, because if it's going to remain secret, it means they can't tell rural and regional communities what it is. City people will be suspicious who are, more pro-action on climate change. It's a silly non-solution, isn't it?
Hard selling an election. We've fought for you. We've secured a good outcome for you. Just trust us. We can't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Over in Victoria, this might be a bit of an antidote to Candace Owen's belief about tyrannical government. The Victorians are going to receive some new freedoms from 6 p.m. on Friday. Travel across the state will be allowed. Density limits in hospitality venues will increase only for fully vaccinated people. That's becoming a theme over in Victoria. Retail centres will open. Masks will no longer be required outdoors. Dan Andrews said the public health team was confident in dropping almost all restrictions at 90%. because of large-scale vaccination requirements well into next year. He started saying some pretty remarkable things. Here's a little bit of what Dan Andrews said yesterday.
There will be a fundamental change, a massive change in many respects, to the rules that we've all been living under. I want to see 80,000+ people at the Boxing Day test on day one. That's what I want to see, and we are determined to deliver that.
It's not that far away. So the advice to work from home ends once they get to 90%. All fully vaccinated Victorians will be able to return to work sites, and almost all events will go ahead without density limits and caps on attendance. But,
2 months tomorrow, the Boxing Day test?
Yeah. So 8 weeks away. They're talking about basically life returning to almost totally normal.
Yeah. Remarkable turnaround. And, I guess the thing is it's all pinged onto the vaccination rate, and they've got as far and as fast ahead as they have, so they feel that they can do this now.
Are you familiar with this tune, Mr. Music?
Take me into
loving arms. It's Ed Sheeran, isn't it?
It is.
It's an Ed Sheeran song.
It is.
It's not him singing though, is it?
Yeah.
Is that Ed Sheeran singing?
That's Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, okay. We found love right where we are.
He's in the news this morning.
How many weddings? I wonder if anyone's listening had this as their wedding song.
Oh, there would have been. Well, there'd be lots of weddings in recent years.
Yeah,
that it would have had it. He's announced he has got COVID via Instagram, or at least a statement on Instagram, which means the timing couldn't be worse. He's got a new album coming out this week called Equals. Now, you know the kind of stuff that follows an album release: a million press conferences, interviews, and then a tour. Well, that ain't happening because he's got COVID. So he's announced he's going to be doing all of his concerts and interviews from his house.
You know, there's actually a scheduled event through our parent company, Nova.
Yes.
For staff. In fact, we've been invited to it. I'm not going. No one's physically going. But it's a concert, what they call the Red Room at Nova. It's being done across Australia as a thing for Nova Entertainment employees. And he's meant to be singing on Friday. They'll have to cancel that, surely.
Well, I think he's still doing concerts remotely, and it's remote. So,
but is he all right? I mean, is he?
Seems to be. So far, he's decided to battle on. Maybe he's got that old soldier on with Codral mentality.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
13 after 7, 8223 our number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 0448 08 1395. We're going to take a short break and be back with more in just a moment.
5AA News keeps Adelaide informed.
It's not yet clear what caused her death.
Nearly been burnt alive here.
The system is in crisis.
Always has.
Real testament to the community of South Australia.
There is still risk associated with this.
Always will.
There's 11,000 people who are without power.
A car has been torched at Happy Valley.
Always informing Adelaide.
I can't be more blunt about it. Stop it.
5AA News. SSA as AA.
When it comes to big cleaning projects, you can rely on the team at Exis. From kitchen exhaust and coolroom cleaning, HVAC and ventilation systems, medical and COVID cleaning, pressure cleaning, gutter cleaning, and more. You'll find Exis at work in our hospitals, supermarkets, restaurants, pubs, takeaway venues, councils, universities, food manufacturing, defence, and sporting venues. If your business requires a standard of excellence in all things cleaning and hygiene, get in touch with Exis. EXIIS. Exis.com.au.
If you're a Walco kind of family, you're like us. You love your pool. The first thing you did when you got her was get her a solar blankie, her own Walco solar blanket. Now, it's been a few years. Pool still loves her blankie because it stops her evaporating and you save dollars. But now, well, you need a bit more convenience. So get a Walco roller. It's quicker and easier to tuck pool in. And because it's made right here, it'll be delivered immediately. Walco.com.au.
Your backyard, your patch of pride, whatever your vision, Honda's petrol and battery range of power equipment will bring it to life. From premium mowers designed to withstand harsh conditions, to powerful blowers that can blow through dry, wet or heavy debris, and easy operating brush cutters for commercial or domestic applications, all built to start first time, every time. Honda's lawn and garden range is engineered for life. Visit your local Honda dealer or honda.com.au.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
Hi, I'm Lawrence. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but I hate sagging, back-killing, foam-only mattresses. That's why I tested my brand new Sleeping Duck mattress against a 15-ton steamroller to see if its springs really are indestructible. Check it out at mattress-testing.com.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
17 after 7. Stephen Rowe coming up very shortly, and we'll wrap the weekend in sport. But first, speaking of the weekend, one of the biggest stories to come out of it was the fatal shooting of Helena Hutchins, a cinematographer who was working on the set of the film Rust, starring actor and producer Alec Baldwin. He was the one who fatally shot her in the end during a rehearsal for a scene. He was handed a prop gun, turned out to be loaded with some sort of projectile. Beyond that, though, the specifics of how this happened are unclear. What is clear, it's a tragedy, it was an accident. There are some awful pictures this morning doing the rounds of Alec Baldwin meeting with the family that are just absolutely heartbreaking. But again, hearing from experts, no one knows how this is even possible. Cameron Douglas is what's known as a film armourer who is based out of Melbourne here in Australia. Cameron, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
Cameron, this is such a rare thing. We were saying before, obviously it happened getting on for 3 decades ago with Brandon Lee. But as someone who works in this field, surely there's a lot of safeguards in place. How do you think this could have happened?
Well, there are protocols that can never be breached, and the first rule of thumb that there's no live ammunition required on any film set.
Yeah.
So without knowing exactly what happened there, because clearly we didn't witness it ourselves, prop guns cannot fire live ammunition. Only real guns can fire live ammunition.
In your experience, what proportion of movies use real guns?
90%.
Right. Is that just because the look of the gun, or is it the look of when it's firing? What makes using a real gun preferable?
Well, it's more that what we have access to in Australia as well. But the reality is a real gun is required on the film set. They don't always have to be blank firing as well, because they're not fired all the time. But you can cheat certain things in post-production with muzzle flash and so on, but it doesn't give the effect what most directors are looking for as well. But the golden rules of thumb are you never ever point the firearm directly at an actor when it's got blanks in it as well. You need to learn how to cheat camera angles and know what's the safe distance and so on. And that's our job on set, to provide that safety and advice and give into that.
How safe are blanks, Cameron? Are they utterly fail-safe? There's never been any instances where people have been injured by blanks, are there?
No, people have been killed with blanks.
Seriously?
Not in the film set that I've been on, obviously.
Yeah.
But in the past, people who have been in different industries, in certain police forces as well, doing blank training exercises, have shot their colleagues unintentionally, causing the injury and death. So a blank at point-blank range is lethal. And that's why, again, you never, ever allow anyone the possibility to point the blank firearm directly at somebody. 20 feet is the golden rule of thumb for safety in their general direction, but you never point it directly at them.
Wow.
Court documents out of the US this morning are saying a crew member yelled "cold gun" as Alec Baldwin was handed the gun. What does cold gun mean?
Well, we don't use that terminology here. But cold gun, generally speaking, is that it's safe to use and it can't fire. So it's not the actor's job to clear the firearm because they're not trained to do it. The armourer is fully responsible, as I am, on a film set or when training actors, because that's our purpose for our position in a job here. We run specialty safety courses to make sure stuff like this does not happen. It's
such a unique and niche sort of line of work that you're in, Cameron. How did you even end up getting into it?
I've been in the film industry on and off for 25 years, starting off as acting, stunt work, and then sort of progressed into armoury later on down the track. But our licensing is so stringent, and for insurances as well, to make sure that we do everything 100% above board, and there's just no excuse for live ammunition regardless on a film set.
Well, that's the other unnerving thing about this story, because being reported today that live bullets were reportedly found by police and they were being stored in the same place near the blanks.
Mm.
Yeah, that's just if that's the case, that is a recipe for disaster. We never take live ammunition on a film set. There's just no excuse for it. There's no reason for it. But given, again, the gun culture in the US, people carry firearms at work for safety, for their own self-defence, and they're rightly allowed to do that. But any armourer would clearly separate any ammunition, But again, I go back to the film set has different rules than, the general Joe Blow on a film set. So firearm safety is strictly on the armourer.
Yeah. Hey, fascinating chat, Cameron. Cam Douglas, film armourer based in Melbourne, as he was saying, 2.5 decades working in the film industry. Really fascinating chat, mate. Thanks for your time.
22 minutes after 7. Let's turn our attention to sport. Rowi's on the line. Secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toyota. Morning to you, Rowie.
Penberthy, Will, good morning. Start with Cricket Australia T20 campaign. Well, it got off to a winning start. We beat South Africa by 5 wickets, rolled them for 118. I was excited. But then we scratched about with 2 balls to spare to win. Josh Hazlewood was man of the match. Gee, he's a good bowler. Warner and Finch, I still think, at the top order is a concern. I reckon we got the talent, but maybe need to pull our finger out. What have we got? Sri Lanka Friday, then England Sunday. We're no chance of winning this, are we? Never won it, no chance.
No, I'd be surprised. The problem seems to be, do we care enough? Like, are people staying up late at night agonising about this? Are your mates texting you going, did you see that?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. We've got an Ashes coming, so I guess that's what we've got our most interest in. But probably the biggest sporting rivalry in the world. You name one bigger than this. Now, I know Liverpool beat Man United 5-0. That's big. Crows and Port's big. Pakistan v India last night. They more than hate each other. They want to blow each other up. Pakistan beat India by 10 wickets in a packed stadium. Absolutely smoked them. Did you see that? That was unbelievable. Probably got the best T20 bowler in the world, Afridi, and then they've got Rizwan as a batter. They last won at 9. That was an unbelievable win. Goodness me.
Massive for Pakistan too, given how dislocated they've been for the last 3 years and stuck in the UAE and everything else.
Yeah. Wallabies won, Matildas beat Brazil. We'll cover that. And just no surprise as I close, the Redbacks 10 cleared of any wrongdoing. Can you believe it was a front page article, if you like? No charges, no breaches, no punishment. An absolute sensationalised, beat-up story with not 1 ounce of cred. So, front page story, the apology, if you like, or the follow-up story's buried in page 76. Give me a spell, honestly. Got me angry, this one.
All right. Good on you, Rowie.
Yeah, at least they're famous for something.
Stephen Rowe, secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toyota. Randy told us earlier 500 million people watched that India and
500
Pakistan
million
game. That's basically 7% of the world population.
That's staggering, isn't it? That's almost 1 in 10 people on Earth.
On Earth, we're watching that game of cricket.
A lot of people having the same conversation at work this morning in Mumbai.
Oh, yeah.
Lahore.
Speaking in hushed tones.
Islamabad.
Absolutely.
They'd be pretty fired up about it in Islamabad.
Yeah, they would be. 25 minutes after 7.
Let's talk about extra time. Extra time because I don't have to maintain a garden. Extra time because I don't have costly home repairs. Every ECH Encore apartment at Modbury comes with time. Time to enjoy retirement. Time to enjoy the on-site cafe, gym and community garden. So spend time in our new on-site display suite. Book an appointment today. Time for an encore. Time to live more life. Visit echencore.com.au.
There's never been a more important time to protect your family's future. So start by making a will. Maurice Blackburn's My Life Wills online service provides legally valid wills written by expert lawyers for a fixed price. Get started from the comfort and convenience of your own home. To protect your loved ones, head to mauriceblackburn.com.au/create my will today.
Conditions apply.
A healthy head of hair, healthy muscles and eyes, healthy teeth and gums. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? Well, Nutrimate has your furry friends covered. That's right, you thought I was talking about you. No, your furry friends covered from teeth to tail with their premium dog rolls. Get to Foodland, Drakes or IGA for the Nutrimate dog roll that does it all.
I do clearly need a haircut, Will, but I don't.
No, I don't mean you. I meant the, the sort of
when you said your furry friends.
Yes.
Now look, this is crackerjack stuff. If you love your dog, you got to feed it Nutrimate, and now more than ever because they've added thiamine and taurine for the healthiest muscles and eyes. And to keep their coats beautiful, there's added omega-3. For all your dog's nutritional needs, these rolls are up to scratch. They meet the international dog food standards for nutrition for all the stages of your dog's life.
Yeah, and they come in all sorts of flavours too for the picky dog. Beef, lamb, chicken, it's all great stuff. And best of all, so the dogs tell us, you're backing Aussie business because it's 100% Aussie made and owned with high quality ingredients to keep your best mates healthy and their tails wagging. So don't forget, get into Foodland, Drakes or IGA for the Nutrimate dog roll that does it all.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joyreen Fashions. Do you get frustrated with the lack of choice to fit the mature figure? With 50 years fashion experience, we can definitely assist you in this area. We have a wonderful choice of spring and summer fashion and one of Adelaide's largest selections in casual day wear through to special occasion wear. Come in early and let's help you find that special outfit for any occasion. Joyreen Fashions for mothers and daughters, 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
Are you looking to build your forever home? Would you like to age in place? Or perhaps you or a loved one is living with a disability? Design for Life is an initiative by custom home builder Normus Homes, giving you the opportunity to design and build a home to suit your specific needs without compromising on style. Normus integrates innovative changes today for enhanced livability tomorrow. To learn more about Design for Life, visit normushomes.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
28 after 7, let's check traffic. Glenelg BMW now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
At Marston, works are causing delays Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace. That's in both directions. Northfield, expect delays Grange Junction Road at Hampstead Road for works. And Crayfor's got speed restrictions on the freeway. Both directions there too. Plus, we've got a right-hand lane closed on the down track through the tunnels. That'll get busy this morning, so keep that one in mind. Got cameras Gorge Road, Campbelltown and Langman Grove at Felixstowe. Brace yourself for choppy waters with a brand new season of Below Deck arriving tomorrow on Hey You. Don't miss the show everyone's talking about. Head to heyu.com to try it for free. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Lucy came into the office this morning with a problem. She wanted to help solving it, and the moment we heard it, we thought, well, our listeners are going to be better placed to do this than we are. Lucy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
What have you got? What's happening?
Well, David wanted to guess the problem. David, I give you one shot. What's my problem?
You owe money to the mob.
No,
so I'm asking for how do I get money to the mob?
Yeah.
Everyone call in. No. It's a much more fun trivia one. I'm not very creative, but of all things, I have a Halloween party this Saturday.
Oh, really?
What should I go as?
Oh, that's a good problem.
What should I go as? Now, I do have a boyfriend. I don't think he's coming. So a couple ideas
hang on,
are out of the running.
I say you can't go as like, Mr. and Mrs. Beelzebub or something. So it's got to be just you going as anything.
I think so. I mean, I could go as one half of a famous couple, but I don't feel like that works.
Like Morticia. From the Addams Family.
Not a bad suggestion.
Morticia's good. I think you can get Morticia outfits.
Now,
I wouldn't know. I haven't Googled them or anything.
I don't want to spend a fortune
Cousin Ed.
Cousin Ed.
Cousin Ed.
Is that the hand or the hairy one?
That's the hairy one, I think.
Yeah.
The thing is the hand, I think.
Yes. So it's an Addams Family.
Easiest thing in the world, get an old white bed sheet, cut 2 holes in it.
Okay, no, I'd like to be slightly more creative than that, but I also don't want to spend a lot of money. So my idea was a tea bag.
A tea bag?
Yeah, get a massive bit of white paper, like a billboard, a human billboard, and then make your own label, like Lipton tea label or something.
All right, I think our listeners are going to have fun with this. Now,
yes,
just
Halloween.
factoring in.
Yes.
Speaking of, you can't go as Lurch or anything or other because what are you at 5'1"?
5'2".
Okay.
Come on, Will.
All right, 8223000. There's a $100 Wallace gift card. What does Lucy go to Halloween this Saturday as? and she's going to send back pictures for us to look at. Telstra Storm Out Barker text line, you can enter too, but as always, we love your calls, and you can win a $100 Wohlers gift card.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 22 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
There's been a stabbing at Underdale. Senior Constable Matt Brown has the details.
Police will allege about 2:30am today, patrols and emergency services were called to a share house on Henley Beach Road after reports that one of the residents had stabbed another male resident in the neck with a small knife.
The victim was not seriously injured and was taken to hospital. The suspect had allegedly doused the house in accelerant prior to the stabbing, with one of the rooms damaged by fire. The 32-year-old man will face numerous charges, including aggravated assault causing harm and arson. Cash has been stolen from a service station on the parade at Norwood. The On the Run was hit at 12:30 this morning. The offender said they had a weapon, but it wasn't cited. SA's COVID vaccination blitz over the weekend saw thousands roll up their sleeves for the jab. Yesterday's figures will be released today. These people have told Seven there weren't any delays, despite it being a walk-in.
It was really simple, really straightforward, in a span of maybe 5 minutes.
Oh, easy as. Can't go wrong with a snag.
62% of South Australians are now fully vaccinated. Meantime, vaccination clinics will launch in selected schools today. And from today, masks are no longer mandatory in high schools. Australia's drug regulator will finalise its decision on booster shots today, which will provide extra protection against COVID. Aged care residents and frontline workers vaccinated about 6 to 8 months ago are likely to be first in line for the injection. COVID Task Force Commander Lieutenant General John Fruin has told today he's expecting the booster to be available from next month.
We're ready now to commence rolling out booster shots when given the green light. I think what the process will be is that as your 6 months from your second shot ticks over, you'll be able to come in and grab a booster.
Cabinet will be asked to formally endorse a plan to cut Australia's carbon emissions to net zero by 2050. Nine's Michael Packey reports from Canberra.
The majority of the Nationals party room has agreed to decarbonise the Australian economy over the next 30 years. It's conditional on support to help farming and mining communities transition to net zero. The backing of the junior coalition partner paves the way for Australia to adopt cleaner fuels and invest more in renewable energy projects. Cabinet will meet to discuss the Nationals' demands and then ratify the plan. It means the Prime Minister can travel to a global climate summit in Glasgow and explain how Australia plans to reduce emissions using technology rather than raising taxes.
Archaeologists in Iraq have discovered a large-scale wine factory dating back more than 2,500 years. Researchers believe the giant stone basins cut into white rock were used for commercial winemaking in the late 8th or early 7th century BC. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Asco washer dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And some breaking news, Tom Wren.
Certainly is, Melon. It regards motorsport. Max Verstappen has doubled his advantage as the fight to win the Formula One Drivers' Championship heats up after beating out fierce rival Lewis Hamilton at the US Grand Prix.
For the first time on US soil, Max Verstappen wins the US Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton has to settle for second. The charge got close, but not quite close enough.
Yeah, good result there for Verstappen. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo finishing 5th. Unvaccinated international tennis players are being told they will be allowed to compete in the Australian Open if they do 2 weeks of hotel quarantine upon arrival. However, freelance journalist Ben Rothenberg, who obtained the email from the WTA Players Council, says it's a rather optimistic outlook given the Andrews government's vaccination mandate for professional sport.
That's something we saw for the 2021 Australian Open as well, that maybe Tennis Australia have been giving the players a bit rosier of a picture of what the guidelines would be and the leniency would be than actually wound up being the case on the ground.
Plenty of action at the T20 World Cup last night with Pakistan stunning pre-tournament favourites India with a 10-wicket demolition, while Sri Lanka survived a scare beating Bangladesh by 5 wickets. And a lot going in the English Premier League with Liverpool smashing Manchester United 5-0 at Old Trafford, Mo Salah scoring another hat-trick, while Leicester got over Brentford 2-1 and West Ham had a 1-0 win against Tottenham. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
At Marston this morning, got a few delays with those roadworks. Pretty slow going at the moment. That's Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace. Leave early if you're heading that way. Crayford's on the freeway. Speeds reduced on the freeway for both directions. And we've got a right-hand lane closed citybound. That's actually in the tunnel. Is going to cause a few headaches this morning, so leave early if you can. And also look out at Northfield. Delays there, Grand Junction Road and Hampstead Road for works. Got cameras today, Anzac Highway, Glandor and Grand Junction Road at Hope Valley. OTR's got your summer sorted with their Sea Coffee iced range. Delicious iced coffee, iced chocolate and the new iced matcha. Order your favourite today at OTR. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now checking the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
22 is the top today and sunny. Sunny tomorrow 31. Wednesday a shower or two developing and 30. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube this morning, you'll note that Lucy's in the studio with us because she has a dilemma. That's right, David's pointed her out in case
you get it mixed up with me.
You're looking at the image and you get slightly confused.
My hair's almost as long as yours at the moment.
I actually got mine cut the other day, so I'm closer to yours now.
Well,
we could have
if you're listening, Christos, I'll be in.
Guess who's got the longest air competition for 5AA Breakfast? That could be just something we do later in the week. This morning, we've got a $100 Waller's gift card to give away. Lucy's dilemma is...
I need a Halloween costume for a Halloween party on Saturday.
Exactly right. Lindy in Gawler has a solution for you, Lucy. Lindy, good morning.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good thanks, Lindy.
I reckon just get a single black sheet and a scream mask.
Holy smoke, Lindy! You might provide the audio for that, Lindy. That was
I'll just
truly
I'll
haunting.
get an audio grab of that and play it out my phone as I go.
Exactly. Anyone that speaks to you.
Do you like scary movies, Lucy?
I think. Wow, Lindy, that was really exceptional stuff.
I once said that to the kids through the baby monitor. Not the little kids, the teenage kids.
Right, when they were little. Rob in Broadview, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Lucy, go to the source. Ask Dave for his white safari suit and go with Dave.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's terrifying.
God. Oh, my God, a shorter female version of David Penberthy in
Lucy
South
goes
Africa.
as David about to go on a date. Oh, my goodness.
That is genuinely
Kate
terrifying.
along? Would Kate come to the
She
party
might.
with me
Yeah, well,
as my date?
it's a night away from me. She'd probably jump at the chance.
Tracy in Evanston Park, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Tracy.
That's good. Look, I can't say that this was my own idea. It just popped up on Pinterest the other day, but I thought serial killer, but you use little boxes of cereal with plastic knives stuck in them.
Hey, that's a great idea.
That's clever.
Yeah.
I really
Like those
like that
little
idea.
Kellogg's variety packs.
Exactly, yeah.
Where you get the
Cocoa
special
Pops
K and the Fruit Loops.
It has an extra
I like
layer
that
of meaning too, because Lucy, you don't eat breakfast cereal ever, do you?
I know, that's quite good, actually.
Yeah.
I like it's creative. It's not going to cost an arm and a leg.
Exactly.
And you get all the cereal.
Andy eats cereal. He eats a box a day, so you've got
Yeah.
boxes out there in the kitchen ready
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, he loves it.
It's already there.
He's addicted to it.
8223000. We've got time for some more calls. We've got a costume suggestion for Lucy. Win a $100 Waller's gift card. Graham, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good, thanks, Graham.
Lucy.
Oh, thanks. I'm good. Thanks, Graham.
I reckon you should go as Elvira. She used to host the spook shows in America. She's a female equivalent of Deadly Ernest.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion, Graham. Thank you. So you got a favourite? So I think Lucy gives away the $100 Waller's gift card this
Can you
morning.
explain to me Graham's? I don't know who that is.
Elvira, she was like a late night. She used to host scary like horror movies on Friday nights on TV, and she looked like a goth. She looked like she should have been going to the old Toucan Club in Hindley Street in the 1980s.
What's the Toucan Club?
Oh,
I
cute,
see.
me.
Ah, yeah, I was born mid-90s, Dave. Keep
Yeah, I
that in
know.
mind.
Sorry, I'm flying the flag for the old guys in here, Luce.
I like that suggestion, though.
Okay, Brad in Seacliff, good morning.
Good morning. I was thinking a bit of current culture and go as, if you got a blue or a red tracksuit, you go as Squid Game.
Oh.
Pick a number on the blue one, or if you've got the red one, you put a face mask on and a square or a triangle.
That'll be the go-to costume.
Well, that is. They are the biggest selling costumes in the United States. Are anything to do with Squid Game?
Yeah, right.
Ahead of Halloween, they're just going absolutely gangbusters. It's become an issue where people are worried about kids playing the games in schools, which I kind of find funny because they're all inspired by kids' games. But anyway, that's a different story. Who do you like for the $100 Waller's gift card, Luce?
Well, I knew I'd get a Squid Games reference, but I haven't seen it and I'm not going to watch it. So sorry, Brad. I like it, but you're not the one. I'm going to go with Tracy, the old serial killer.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Because it's punny.
Yes. You love a good pun.
I love a good pun. It's easy.
Can you do craft? Are you a handy seamstress? Can you do anything like that, Liz?
Absolutely not. So I'm going to steal my stapler out of my top drawer and I'm going to staple some cereal boxes together. And then we all have breakfast for the next few weeks.
That's a good idea.
Save the Fruit Loops for me. I love those things.
We need to see the final result on our social media.
Serial killer. What did she say? I've got to have plastic knives sticking out. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There's lots of people love to turn all of our topics into an attempt to pillory us, David. I don't know if you've noticed this. It's becoming very popular. Like this one, someone says dress up as David and Will. Lucy's boyfriend gets a fierce fade shorts, thongs, and a knitted jumper, and Lucy rocks up with bed hair chinos, North Carolina t-shirt, and a flanny over the top.
Oh my
Easy.
God, I love that idea. Who is that? Was that on Twitter?
No,
what about Tessa and Paraka?
Oh.
Tessa says, hey, Lucy, grab some moleskin, some gardening gloves, a chorizo, and voila, you can go as me. What about that?
So many David suggestions.
Have you noticed it feels like Halloween has... I know a lot of people still don't like it, and there are some people who, I think, is it through SAPO, you can get signs to put on your door saying, please don't ring, we don't do Halloween.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's become even more of a thing.
It is a thing. And in the Sunday Mail yesterday, Nicola Spurrier gave a quote from SA Health saying she wants a COVID-safe trick-or-treating experience for parents and kids. A couple of my friends, one's going as Cleopatra.
Yeah.
One's going as Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah. What does a COVID unsafe Halloween look like? You run around licking people's letterboxes or something.
No, I think it's things like giving out...
Done a great job, Professor Spurrier, but no need to worry about everything.
Yes. She's urging you not to cough in other people's faces this year's Halloween. Just take one off. Exactly. Just take one off. That's all she's saying.
Yeah.
Luce, we'll have a great time. We look forward to seeing the pictures.
Tracy. I like Tracy's cereal boxes, but now I kind of want to go as one of you guys.
No.
Imagine that, explain that to your 25-year-old friends.
I can bring in the white linen suit, but you'd look like David Byrne in Stop Making Sense. If I can give you another 80s reference that you won't understand.
Bring in the jacket. I'll wear a belt around it, make it into a dress or something.
Actually, the jacket would probably make it all the way down to your knees.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
All right.
17 minutes.
Something to work with.
17 minutes to 8. We're going to take a short break. Traffic coming up in just a moment.
What's the best advice you ever got from an 80s song? Don't worry, be happy, just beat it. We'd argue that the best advice is to
listen to your heart.
Heart valve disease is a prevalent disease, but too many people ignore the signs, like shortness of breath, palpitations, chest pain, or dizziness, which can lead to serious heart problems or even failure. So listen to your heart and talk to your doctor. Find out more at listentoyourheart.com.au. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
What's a Walco family look like? Well, it looks like us. Mum, Dad, kid or two, and Pool. Pool loves her Walco solar blanket. Pool loves her Walco roller. And we all love Walco. Walco is the only pool blankie and roller manufacturer in Adelaide. They're also the only guys that make their materials here. Nothing imported. Walco, making a real splash in SA. Walco.com.au.
Now, if you're looking into a new bathroom or kitchen reno, of course, you want the outcome to be spectacular. But what you don't want is a bunch of stumbling blocks along the way, including broken promises.
At By Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, you're not going to have that problem because the guys there, they never make a promise they can't keep. And for whatever reason, if there's some sort of delay or something's not quite going to plan, you're not going to find out late in the piece or by accident because Coxie or one of his team, they're professionals. They'll be on the phone straight away to you, quick, smart, with a solution.
It's all about the journey. Coxie and the entire team, they go to extraordinary lengths to ensure the entire process is trouble-free. So start your journey to a stunning and worry-free home renovation with By Urban Bathrooms, Kitchens, Flooring and Shutters. They're Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit byurban.com.au.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Adelaide homes in some areas have increased by as much as 30% over the past 12 months. There's extraordinary buyer competition for quality homes, with some selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars above vendors' expectations. And with demand still outweighing supply, chances are that prices will continue to rise through spring. If you're thinking of selling, there's rarely been a better time to maximise your returns. To find out what your home's worth, go to toop.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
14 minutes to 8 and time to check traffic. Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package, or you can book your next service at Glenelg BMW?
At Marston this morning, we're seeing some delays with roadworks. Pretty heavy both directions. That's Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace. Main lanes, we're also got some delays Grange Junction Road and Hampstead Road. And Stirling and Crayford speeds reduced on the freeway both directions, and got a right-hand lane closed on the down tracks, actually in the tunnels. That'll cause a few delays throughout the morning. Leave early if you have got the chance. Look out for cameras, Grange Junction Road, Hope Valley, and Marion Road at Firle. Want free delivery? Shop amazon.com.au. Browse millions of items and receive free delivery on eligible orders over $39. Amazon.com.au, easy as. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
13 minutes to 8 and time to check the weather situation. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News joins us. Morning, Amelia.
Hey, good morning. How are we today?
We're good, thanks, Amelia. Looking forward to a couple of days of sunshine.
Well, you have got it right coming up. We've got a beautiful sunny day on the way today. 22 degrees of forecast up. It was a cool start, though. Our low was about 7 degrees in the city. The average for this time of year is around 11, so a little below average, a little below what we expect to see. But we've got some above average temperatures on the way as well. Tomorrow is the warm one of the week, sunny and up to 31 degrees. So enjoy that one. If you do live in some of those parts, the foothills or sort of inner south where you get those gully winds, expect to maybe sort of hear them in the early hours tomorrow. But otherwise, beautiful, warm, sunny day. Now, Wednesday's when our sort of fortunes change a little bit. We've got a warm night going into Wednesday first up, though. We shouldn't drop much lower than 20 degrees. Then we're going for a top of 30 degrees, but we're looking at cloud building during the day, with showers likely a little later in the day. We could even see the odd rumble as well, maybe a couple of millimetres in those showers. It's not really going to drop the temperature a great deal. Like, we'll have about an average overnight low going into Thursday, but, we're back up to 27 degrees. So we've got time to warm up before showers return. We'll probably see them again late in the day, and we could see another thunderstorm. A little bit more expected on Thursday, maybe up to 6 millimetres worth. And that'll lead to a cooler day Friday, 19. Could see showers continuing, maybe lingering into Saturday as well. But the person that loves numbers in me loves this. Sunday we're going for sunny and a top of 22 degrees. So we've really come full circle. So our top today, sunny 22, and we'll finish that off with sunny and 22 this time next week.
Excellent. Sounds good. Bit of everything.
11 minutes to 8. John Blake is coming up in just a moment, and also our weekend real estate wrap.
If you want to feel great about the milk you pour in your tea and coffee, over your cereal, or in your smoothie, make sure it's from the Flurio Milk Company. Because it's a great feeling buying from people who love SA as much as you do. 3 words make all the difference. Flurio Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. Whew. Feel like a cuppa now.
Flurio Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FlurioMilkCo.com.au.
G'day, it's Jason Hodges here. As a landscaper, I know a bit about lawn. Which ones grow best, stay green all year round, and which one's best for backyard cricket. That's why I love the lawn at the Turf Farm. The Turf Farm treat their lawn like family, and they're grown for South Australian conditions. Plus, they offer the famous Lawn Solutions Australia 10-year warranty. So create your happy place with the leader in instant lawn, theturffarm.com.au.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
RB Day & Sons Supercraft Bedding says thank you for shopping locally. We shop locally too, and because we've been trading Adelaide-made mattresses for nearly 140 years, we know where to buy the best to build the best. Our fabric, foam, fibre and pocket springs are all Australian-made. It's not just mattresses either. It's pillows, bed heads, bases and electrically adjustable beds. Check us out on social media or visit supercraft.com.au. RB Day & Sons Supercraft Bedding. Building better beds.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 minutes to 8, our weekend real estate wrap with Toop and Toop in just a moment. But first, it's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
The Office of the Premier of South Australia, the Honourable Stephen Marshall.
Julian.
Morning, Premier. Would you like a cuppa?
Yes, please.
Alrighty, I'll bring it in.
Okay, thanks.
Tea lady!
You're really quite quick with that, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I'm quick on the door. Ah, quick on the door.
Yes, very good.
I can do it quicker than that, though.
Really?
Yes, you watch. I'll do it again.
Oh, okay. Julian.
Morning, Premier. Would you like a cuppa?
Yes, please.
Tea lady!
Oh, yeah, that was quicker.
Oh, yes, but I can do it quicker than that, even.
No, you don't.
Yes,
need
you watch. I'll do it again.
Yes,
Morning, Premier. Would you like a cuppa?
Yes.
Tea lady!
Oh,
What do you think?
Yeah. Okay, that was very quick.
Oh, yes, but I can do it quicker than that.
Oh no, I don't. I don't
I'll
need
show
to.
you. You watch this.
Yes. Yes.
Tea lady!
Wait a minute. You talked to me before you even opened the door.
Yes, I know. Sometimes I'm so quick I go faster than the speed of sound, so things that should go before me go after me. Have a good day, Premier. Bye.
Hang on. You said goodbye from behind the door before you'd even gone out the door.
Told you I was quick.
More confusing than politics.
More from John Blake after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Susanna Toop on the line from Toop and Toop Real Estate. Morning to you, Susanna.
Good morning, guys.
Looked like a lovely weekend for selling houses, Susanna. How did you go?
It was. We had a bumper weekend with a huge number of auctions scheduled across both days. We had 12, actually, so our guys were absolutely flat out. But to a couple of the standout results, we had a cute masonette in Glenelg North with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on 367 square metres. 8 bidders battled it out, and it sold for $911,000. And in Hawthorne, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, beautiful home on 457 square metres sold for $1.407 million. So some great results there, and yeah, just absolutely flat out. I think it's spring's here, and it's just going to be busy and right through to the end of the year and into the new year, I think.
So those 2 properties, both in Glenelg North and Hawthorne, on less than 500 square metres. Who would have thought 10 years ago that properties like that would be selling for $1 million or even $1.5 million?
I know, it's just in terms of what you can get now, I mean, it's just some of these key areas. We're seeing prices kind of, we've sort of been talked about every week, just going up and up. Every weekend we seem to be seeing these standout results, and I think it's just going to show that how much upside there still is for the Adelaide market in so many pockets, you know, north, east, south and west. It's just all performing so well at the moment.
There was some new research out showing that there's been an increase in the number of what are called $1 million suburbs. What do you know offhand? What are the sort of areas that are now entering that bracket?
Look, it's interesting. There were about $14 million suburbs here in Adelaide in 2018. But now there are 55. So to be declared $1 million suburb, it means the average price needs to be $1 million or above. So in terms of the areas where we're seeing new entrants for 2021, it's very exciting. It's down in the south pocket, so suburbs like Mitcham, Lower Mitcham, Clarence Park, Black Forest, West Swan Park, Torrens Park, all are now officially $1 million suburbs. We also saw Vale Park and Crayford West make the list this year as well. So, you know, with 55 suburbs across Adelaide now, officially $1 million suburbs, it's just really a sign and an indicator of how much growth we've had in the last 12 and 18 months.
It certainly is. That's extraordinary, Susanna. Thank you for that. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate. So it's gone up, 3 times in 3 years? If it was to do that again, most of Adelaide would be $1 million suburb.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, the next 10 years, this is going to decide whether we end up just being like Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Do you see any way we don't?
Not really.
I don't either.
I think too, and you can hear this. We've had texts about it this morning from people who've got family living in Melbourne. I actually think one of the things that has genuinely happened over the course of the last 18 months, and it's been borne out with these surveys about livability and so forth, is I actually think a lot of people are going, you know what, I'm talking Sydney and Melbourne people, are going, there's got to be a better way to live.
Yep. Well,
and we're it.
But
are we it forever?
One of the identifiable social phenomena of COVID and restrictions around the globe has been people have made big life decisions as a result of being locked down or there being a break to the normal routine of life. In the US, they're calling it the Great Resignation, where there has been an unprecedented number of people quit their jobs. Originally, people thought, that must be because of vaccine mandates. Drilled down the data, and it's not. There's a whole host of people that went, you know what, I don't like my career. Or that said, I want to do something different. Life's too short. It was a circuit breaker for everyone on earth. So it's totally understandable that people in the eastern states said, why do I pay this much? Why do I live here? Why do I drive this long to work every day?
Yeah.
Why don't I go live back with my family?
It's funny, when I left Sydney, I had a few mates there went, why are you leaving? And it was like, it's hard to explain to them because I've never lived in a place like Adelaide.
Yeah.
But since then, the ones who've come over have gone, oh yeah, this actually makes sense. I can see why you love it so much. Because so many more things are possible. I know we all complain about the roadworks, but I mean, on a good day, I live 6 k's out of the CBD in Sydney, and on a good day, it'd take me half an hour to get in. Half an hour to go 6 kilometres, the equivalent of here to Plimpton.
Interested in hearing from listeners that live out on the coast, West Beach and Semaphore this morning. Excited by the fact that the plan to end sand carting. It's something that locals have complained about, just generally because of the volume of big trucks that have to be in the area. The state government have put into place a longer-term plan whereby they will increase the pipeline that currently sends sand to Glenelg, and it will send it to West Beach and Henley Beach South as well from Semaphore. So we'll get a permanent piece of infrastructure underground that'll do the job that the trucks have been doing right now. And theoretically, it will restore permanently beach in front of the West Beach Surf Lifesaving Club, which is just rocks right now. You might be lucky to get a foot or so of sand sometimes, but generally it's just rocks. I just wonder, are locals, is it sort of dancing in the street stuff, or did you get used to sand carting? We all see the evidence of it, but it's the real locals who have to live in the midst of it. Let us know how you're feeling. Does a long-term plan make you feel a bit happier about what's happening in your neck of the woods? 8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 0448 08 1395. It's one of those things where you'd see the result. You'd see churned up sand. You see, if you go in there in the middle of the day, sometimes you'd see some big trucks doing things at the West Beach side.
Yeah. Well, they've had heaps of complaints before when they were driving up and down from Semaphore.
Yes.
And carting all of the sand there. It's funny, isn't it? You think about a place like Largs, and some days I feel like you need to pack lunch to make it out to the water. There's so much sand.
Yeah, that's right.
Yet West Beach, it's been sort of in that pincer movement for years, but I don't know, you sort of wonder the extent to which you can control nature.
Well, I wasn't aware that they've been doing this at Glenelg for such a long period of time.
Yeah, yeah.
So it obviously works. I can't. There's never been any issue, well, in recent years of Glenelg having a sand shortage sort of scenario.
The artist's impression looks good on page 9.
It'd be terrific. I feel it. You know, the same people that are inconvenienced by the trucks were also robbed of a beach because of the breakwater in the boats.
Yeah.
So you kind of it's on the state to give those people back what they bought into originally, I think. So it's a good solution.
Speaking of our coast, one story that excited me over the weekend, Nathan Davies in the Sunday Mail. What about this? Daredevil visitors to KI will be able to stare into the cauldron of Devil's Kitchen as part of a major redevelopment of Cape Willoughby. It's a $5 million project. But what they're going to do is, all tourist attraction stuff like, upgrading accommodation. They're going to put in a cafe and a visitor centre. But the best thing is they're going to put this this walkway, projecting it directly off the cliffs, 10 metres above the ocean below, extending right out over the chasm.
That'd be awesome.
And it's got like a see-through bottom. That'd be pretty
fantastic.
Wild. Would you do it?
Yeah.
I'd do it. I'd be holding on to the handrail, though.
Anything that doesn't involve moving fast, I'm okay with. Or being
like
attacked by wild animals.
Yeah,
After 8, Breaking at 8's coming up. Then we'll wrap the stories of the morning, including we'll cross to the Underdale Street where a stabbing and arson took place overnight. We'll also chat with a high schooler who's pretty happy about not having to wear a mask.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 22 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved repairer.
It's day one of the COVID vaccination program in our schools. Up to 1,600 doses will be administered this week at schools across the metro area, from Para Hills in the north to Ranella East in the south. Education Minister John Gardner says it's designed to boost the low vaccination rates among SA teenagers.
By making vaccination available in our school sites in areas with low vaccination numbers, we want to make it as convenient and easy for parents who are happy to get their child vaccinated to do so. The school vaccination sites will also be a really easy opportunity for staff that haven't yet done so to get vaccinated.
And masks are no longer mandatory in the classroom from today. And we'll find out whether the vaccination blitz over the weekend was a success when the figures are released later today. Numbers were up on Saturday with more than 14,000 people rolling up their sleeves for a jab. Singer Ed Sheeran is among the latest to test positive to COVID in Britain as the government resists calls to bring back restrictions. Nine's Brett McLeod reports.
Ed Sheeran took to Instagram to inform his followers that he's tested positive, saying he'll continue media appearances and performances while in isolation. Britain's health minister has admitted winter's darker skies and colder weather pose the greatest threat to Britain's recovery. But still, Boris Johnson is resisting calls for masks to be brought back, despite urgent pleas from doctors. Russia, meantime, will have a week-long shutdown at the start of November, with deaths reaching more than 1,000 a day.
A man has been charged following a stabbing and fire at Underdale. Senior Constable Matt Brown says they were called to a share house on Henley Beach Road in the early hours of this morning, following reports of a stabbing with a small knife between residents.
Now, the victim wasn't seriously injured and he was taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital for treatment of minor injuries.
The suspect had allegedly doused the house in accelerant beforehand. One of the rooms was damaged by fire. The 32-year-old will front court today. Support for the federal coalition has slumped to its lowest level in 3 years. The latest news poll has the primary vote for the Liberal Nationals at 35%. That's down 2. Labor lead 54 to 46 to party preferred. Nationals leader Barnaby Joyce says regional Australia is now in a stronger position after the party supported a net zero emissions target. The coalition partner has secured a series of unknown demands to protect jobs in farming and mining communities. Cabinet will ratify the deal today. Mr Joyce says given the extent of the commitment, it's important the Nationals are at the table.
So the Nationals had two choices. We could negotiate a better outcome for regional Australia or be part of a sort of a thespian outfit, ranting and raving, but having no real effect on any decisions that were made. We chose the most logical one, which was to negotiate a better outcome on behalf of regional Australia.
FedEx workers across the country won't be making deliveries today, causing major delays of weekend shipments from overseas. Employees have walked off the job, demanding better conditions, job security and pay after negotiations broke down during last week's industrial action. A memorial has been held for the cinematographer accidentally shot and killed on the set of Alec Baldwin's new movie. Nine's Michael Genovese is in New Mexico.
Hundreds held candles at the memorial for cinematographer Helena Hutchins, mostly film and TV workers who want more safety measures on set, particularly when it comes to prop guns.
They need to tighten up on maybe never ever use even prop guns on set. Maybe just put it in with CGI.
So you work in television here in New Mexico and you weren't surprised by this?
No, not at all.
Police are investigating how Alec Baldwin was handed a loaded prop gun minutes before accidentally shooting Helena Hutchins in the chest.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to 15% on selected ASCO cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Red Bull's Max Verstappen has taken a huge step towards claiming the Formula One championship after beating Lewis Hamilton at the US Grand Prix in Texas. Hamilton was second, while Aussie Daniel Ricciardo finished fifth. Well, Pakistan has sent a message to World Cup rivals after blitzing bitter rivals India by 10 wickets in their opening match at the T20 World Cup. One other match overnight with Sri Lanka, 5-wicket winners over Bangladesh. Closer to home, and the Adelaide Strikers women's side has lost its first match of the WBBL campaign after going down to the Brisbane Heat by 5 runs. And South Australia's cricketers will be hoping to make it 2 one-day wins on the trot when they take on WA in Perth later today. Well, a leaked email from Tennis Australia says unvaccinated players will be allowed to compete in the Australian Open, but they'll have to do 2 weeks of hotel quarantine first. It's still up to the federal government whether to allow unvaccinated players into the country. To soccer, under fire, Manchester United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under renewed pressure following a horror 5-0 loss at home to bitter rivals Liverpool. The result leaving the Red Devils languishing in 7th place, but Solskjaer insists he is the right man to lead the team forward.
Has that put any doubt in your mind at all that you are the right man for this job, to take this group of players forward?
No, I've come too far. We've come too far as a group, and we're too close to give up now.
2 other games with Leicester 2-1 winners over Brentford, while West Ham had a 1-0 win against Tottenham. And the Atlanta Braves are through to the World Series, where they'll meet the Houston Astros after securing the National League Series against the LA Dodgers. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Marston this morning, pretty slow going with roadworks. That's on Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace, affecting both directions. Stirling on the freeway, speeds reduced both ways for works. Plus this morning got a right-hand lane closed city-bound. That's actually in the tunnels and will cause a few delays this morning as well. Also pretty slow going up mainlands, those intersection works, Portrush Road and McGill Road. NAB Equipment Finance can help you make ideas more. Search NAB Equipment Finance today. NAB, more than money. T's and C's and lending criteria apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
A sunny Monday, 22. Sunny tomorrow, up to 31. Wednesday, a shower or 2 developing and 30. Right now, it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8:07, getting some extraordinary numbers out of New South Wales, just breaking with regards to vaccine rates on this Monday morning. I tell you what, the pessimism that existed around will we ever be able to achieve the targets that state governments have set have been blown out of the water. So what will be reported officially shortly, and 10 News First in Sydney reporting this now, single doses this morning up to 93.06%.
Wow.
Double doses, 84.98%.
It suggests that the waivers aren't wavering anymore, and that all the people who earlier had those reservations about AstraZeneca or
Yes.
is it safe, how do they make it so quickly, all of that stuff, it looks like everyone's gone, you know what? And the tragic figures in the hospitals have been the most powerful demonstration of that. If you want to stay out of hospital, get vaccinated.
At that rate, there will be a full SCG test, and there will be 80,000 people on Boxing Day in Victoria.
Yeah.
As Dan Andrews has said, they're aspiring to achieve.
Mm.
It's going to be pretty remarkable.
Yep.
8 weeks away, those sorts of dates.
Mm.
It's 8:08 and time for Breaking It Home. How does it goes like this? Sorry, we're having some technical troubles this morning, so I'm just going to start taking to doing the...
Yeah, do the sound
you happy
effects
with
yourself.
That?
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy with that, Will. That was,
Did you like that?
That was sensational. That was really good. Hey, the opposition leader, Peter Malinauskas, has had a
I hope you didn't need something with real gravitas to introduce this.
No, I'm happy to run with that, mate. It was a beautiful bit of improvising. On the education space, we last week brought you the story of Peter Malinauskas revealing that a Labor government would give principals the power to sack underperforming teachers. Over the weekend at the State Labor Conference, he announced a range of other things, including preschool for 3-year-olds, also a Royal Commission into early education, the provision of scholarships to encourage more people, including a lot of men, into becoming primary school teachers to address the shortfall of male teaching. Here's one. I'd actually be interested to hear from listeners who graduated from these schools back in the 50s and 60s when they existed all over South Australia. But something I think that is going to resonate with a lot of older voters who have fond memories of getting their start in a trade via technical schools you think back to, Goody Tech and Mitchell Park Boys High, where some of my uncles went, FIVEaa Boys Tech. Well, Peter Malinauskas later this morning is announcing that that if he's elected, he's going to reopen or re-establish tech schools. We don't know how many yet. My understanding is that there's going to be several. We're not talking, just one or two, but there's going to be a handful of these schools. We don't know the locations yet, but the view is that, and I've always struggled with the idea that if you don't go to uni, you've somehow wasted your life. I reckon there's plenty of people out there who have always been good with their hands and who are, probably in a lot of cases making more money on the tools than you would if you're armed with a Bachelor of Arts. Tech schools making a comeback in South Australia. Oh, we got the sound effect after all.
No, that was me.
That was you.
That was me.
You've really nailed it, mate.
Well, I worked on it a bit while you were talking.
The other little breaking at 8 for nature lovers, I just noticed getting some fresh air during the 8 o'clock news. There are 2 yellow-tailed black cockatoos out there in the middle of Hindmarsh Square demolishing all of the pine cones in that big pine tree you can see.
Is that right?
I love those birds.
So that's what happens when Andy's in control of the panel. He can wind you up by just hitting the breaking at 8 closing theme after everything you say. Makes it sound important, though.
It does.
Hey, I just received a text. Thank you, Andy.
Put it down.
Just received a text. Apparently the Extinction Rebellion protesters are back at it again this morning in Victoria Square.
What do they glue themselves to now? Is it a glue-related protest?
Yeah, it seems to be the same shenanigans as last time, blocking Flinders Street. So if you're planning on heading through the city, just factor that into your movements this morning. But they're at it again. 12 minutes after 8, probably not a bad way to kick off our wrap of things happening around Adelaide and South Australia this morning. So that's going on in the city. But in our schools, something that won't be going on is masks. Oscar Bridges is a high school student who can turn up to school today and people get to see his face. Oscar, good morning to you, mate.
Good morning, David and Will. How are you going?
We're going well, thanks, Oscar. So it's been, about 3 months since the mandatory masks came in?
Yeah, since the start of term 3 when we had that 7-day lockdown. So every day, all day, except for recess and lunch and outside. So it's been pretty intense, but, we've all respected why we've had to do it. So we're very excited to have them off now.
How do you think the kids have felt about it at school, mate?
We've all had mixed feelings. It's been frustrating sometimes to, keep them on, but I think we're all just really excited now to finally not have this barrier in the way of our learning anymore. But yeah, it's been all right. We've gotten through.
What was the worst part of the school day to have to wear the mask in?
Well, I'm a performing arts student, so probably dancing sometimes. In the end, I did get to take them off. But stuff like drama and all that, having to get really puffed out can get frustrating. But now that that's not happening anymore, it's going to help us perform so much better.
Did you have to wear them when you were singing too at school?
No, so the performance was an exception. So I was grateful about that. But everywhere else was mask on.
What about school assembly and if you're at a religious school, if you had chapel, would you have to, wear them if you were singing the national anthem and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that it's all mandatory when you're in group gatherings. For a lot of the time in term 3, we did online assemblies and chapel services. But towards the end of it, when we were all back together, you had to wear them standing up singing all the time just because you were all together so close.
Well, mate, we're glad to hear that it'll be going back to the way things were before, and the mask can be something you can leave at home. Oscar Bridges, appreciate your time, mate. Thanks for chatting with us. Let's head to Underdale. Georgia Westgarth for 9 News is at the scene of a pretty scary incident that Sapol told us about earlier. Georgia, good morning. Just for those that have just woken up, what happened at Underdale?
Good morning. Yeah, well, a very scary set of circumstances here in a share house. Someone that lives there has poured accelerant in a few rooms, set one of them alight, and then has stabbed another housemate in the neck. So he tried to run away from police. He managed to get across the road. They've used capsicum spray and arrested him. But the poor man that was stabbed was taken to hospital. He hasn't come back to the scene this morning. But very scary because accelerant was poured throughout the share home, and one of the rooms has been damaged by fire.
Unbelievable. Is there any background yet about what's caused all of this? What the drama was over?
No, not yet. No, police haven't revealed that. We haven't managed to speak to anyone at the scene because they were sitting in their cars for around 4 hours. They had to be evacuated while police investigated. It was a crime scene this morning. So they've spent, more than 4 hours sitting in their cars waiting to go back home. So they're probably gone in there for a sleep.
Yeah, we'll await more information on that as it develops over the course of the day. Thanks for that, Georgia. Georgia Westgarth for 9 News here in Adelaide, in Underdale. 15 after 8. Story coming out of Victoria, albeit it's actually a global story, but it has ramifications for Victoria. The Australian Open was going to be an example of Australia's attitude towards vaccines and vaccination. In fact, Victoria have got some of the strictest rules for the unvaccinated. Dan Andrews says going into not just 2022, but 2023 yesterday, yet a story that's developed this morning suggests that unvaccinated players will now be allowed at the Australian Open. There's an email that has been leaked from Tennis Australia to the WTA that says that there is a plan to let unvaccinated players in. Here is tennis journo Ben Rothenberg.
Yeah, it was only within the last 90 minutes or so, I think they would have gotten this email, and it's from the WTA Players Council to the WTA players and some other WTA constituents, I believe, would have received it as well. It was trying to give clarity to the WTA players about what they're hearing from Tennis Australia. And what they're hearing, I think, is a great picture for vaccinated players who wouldn't have to do any sort of quarantine upon arrival, and probably a more permissive picture for unvaccinated players as well than we've been hearing, certainly from the presentation side of the Victorian government.
So it's the Djokovic clause.
It's the Djokovic clause. I don't know how you sell that to the public when you say that unvaccinated people in Victoria won't be able to do anything effectively.
Well, but there's people in South Australia who are going to lose their jobs at SA Health on November the 1st if they're not vaccinated.
That's right. Yet, we can make allowances for tennis?
Well, this is where sport has been the one issue that has grated with people for the last 18 months, where hell and high water has been moved to make sure that the show goes on at the same time that businesses are being told, no, you do that, the cops will come around and fine you. So it's interesting. Would they even be talking about it if not for the fact that Djokovic is one of the world's most prominent anti-vaxxers?
Impossible not to ask the question. The good people at Climate Extinction Rebellion, they're the one. Extinction Rebellion, whatever their name is. They've marked the occasion of Australia agreeing to a net zero by 2050 emissions policy by blocking the streets in Adelaide here again this morning. Jackie has just been in the area. Jackie, what are they doing?
Good morning. They've set up camp at Flinders Street and King William this morning, just near the Adina, heading west. But we're down to one lane. I can't quite see if they've glued themselves to the tarmac yet, but only about 5 or 10 at max. But a few horns beeping as I got off the bus this morning.
Is there a police presence there, Jackie? Does it look like
Yeah. I can see about 4 or 5 police there now, and they're diverting the traffic round to one lane, but they all seem to be standing around at the moment. It doesn't look huge, but just painful.
Jackie, I got told a short time ago that there were some drivers that had gotten out of their car and sort of given them what for. Have they been allowed to sort of protest in peace, or are people taking issue with it, shall we say?
Well, as I was walking past, there was lots of horn blowing and a few tradesmen probably not shy in letting people know what they think when they went past.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Nice turn of phrase.
When news breaks, Jackie is there.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Excellent, Jackie. Thank you.
Let's wrap what's happening in Adelaide this morning by having a look at the fuel situation. Thanks to Glenelg BMW, it's now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today. $1.80s is where we're at, mid-$1.80s across Adelaide. I tell you what, some scary news stories this morning about the energy crunch in Europe and oil prices around the globe and the potential for us to be at $2 going into next year. $2 next year,
Jeez.
Fuel-wise. Well, the cheap spots for you are these: $1.59 at the Woolies Caltex on Cross Keys Road in Cavan, $1.51 at the Coles Express, Grange Road in Findon, $1.47 at the Costco in Kilburn, and $1.46 at the United on Burleigh Avenue in Pennington. Let's check the traffic. We know that the city has an Extinction Rebellion related problem, but elsewhere, thanks to Glenelg BMW, they're now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today. No, we can't do that. We'll do it another way because I can't mimic the whole thing.
No, that's right.
But if I was to give it a shot, it'd sound like this.
At Marston this morning, pretty slow going with roadworks. That's on Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace, affecting both directions. Stirling on the freeway, speeds reduced both ways for works. Plus, this morning got a right-hand lane closed city-bound. That's actually in the tunnels and will cause a few delays this morning as well. Also pretty slow going at Mainlands, those intersection works, Portrush Road and McGill Road. NAB Equipment Finance can help you make ideas more. Search NAB Equipment Finance today. NAB, more than money. T's and C's and lending criteria apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Like grabbing an iced coffee from the servo or a Tony Modra hanger. From the pristine waters of the Pat to the lines of vines of the Southern Vales. Things that make our fine state. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. They're as SA as AA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
The sun, the brightest entity in our solar system. But what's the brightest place on Earth? Right here at Kate's house. She just installed a home battery in the state that leads the world in home batteries, storing the sun's renewable energy, reducing emissions, making power more affordable. Right here in SA, the brightest place on Earth. For your government subsidy and more affordable energy, visit homebatteryscheme.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Exis. EXIIS. You'll find Exis at work in restaurants, pubs, supermarkets, universities, aged care homes, hospitals, councils, wineries and defence. So, what do the Exis team do? Pretty much everything that others don't want to do. The grunt and grime work, the difficult and dirty cleaning jobs. High risk, high levels, confined spaces. No matter what industry you're in, you can count on Exis to keep it clean and hygienic. Exis.com.au.
Everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, sold by McGain again.
And as you keep hearing, there's still buyers everywhere, so you can expect plenty of offers on your home as soon as you list it.
And right now, McGain have families lined up waiting for new homes to be listed for sale. So if you're looking to sell, contact the brilliant team at McGain and ask them about their McGain match strategy. They could already have the perfect buyer for your property.
With the largest amount of buyer activity in the past 20 years, it's the perfect time to act. And just another reason why everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, you got it, sold by McGain
again.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joyreen Fashions. Do you get frustrated with the lack of choice to fit the mature figure? With 50 years fashion experience, we can definitely assist you in this area. We have a wonderful choice of spring and summer fashion and one of Adelaide's largest selections in casual day wear through to special occasion wear. Come in early and let's help you find that special outfit for any occasion. Joyreen Fashions for mothers and daughters, 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
We've all been on the road trip from hell. Car breaks down, map says go this way, but you went that way, and countless "are we there yet?" The same can be said for home renos. Nobody wants a nightmare on their way to a stunning new kitchen or bathroom. So if you want everything to go according to plan, go with Buy Urban. They've always believed the journey is just as important as the destination. Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Coming up, it's 24 minutes after 8, breaking at 8 after 8:30. Also, I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's happening with the SACE board. They've lost 51 staff members over the past year. You lose that many people quickly, feel like something is seriously wrong. And if something's seriously wrong, the people it affects are Year 12 students. And
have been affected enough, frankly, by everything that's been going on the last 2 years.
Exactly right. So we'll talk about that. We'll also catch up with the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koch.
All of our listeners will be aware of the excellent work of the Zara Foundation, started by Aman Abrahimzadeh and his 2 sisters in honour of the memory of their late mother, to provide assistance to women against the scourge of domestic violence. Well, this Friday, this excellent organisation, which is now 6 years old, is holding a special lunch at the Highway Hotel on Anzac Highway, the Changemakers Lunch, and it's doing so to raise funding for women who are going to receive assistance from the foundation. We've got a good friend, Aman, in the studio with us. Always love to catch up with you, Aman.
Good morning.
But also we've got Gemma Burden, who's the General Manager of the foundation. Gemma, welcome to you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now look, I'm excited because I'm going to be there on Friday, trying to hold fort and interviewing 3 amazing women on stage. Tell us more broadly, though, about your role with the foundation and what it sets out to achieve.
Yeah, so I'm the General Manager there at the Zara Foundation, and we've been going, for, as you said, for 6 years. The idea that what we do is look after women who are in recovery from domestic violence. You know, women have gone through crisis and then they end up in a space where they might need a little bit of guidance around, you know, what's next and how to find a safer future. So we have programs and services. We have a beautiful 9-week program, which is a small group program. Women can come in, work on their self-esteem, decision-making, and really focus on trying to break the cycle of violence.
Some of that will be like, you know, getting themselves on their own 2 feet financially as well, because often that's the form of control that bad blokes can exert over their partners.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we also have financial counselling one-on-one, and it's really specialist in a domestic violence sense, so that women, you know, they have the focus of just on themselves. We spend as much time as necessary with them, and that's sort of, I think that's the special way that we really help women, is that we don't have a time limit. You know, they can spend as much time as needed working on their finances with us.
Yeah. So is the aim that then after that 9-week period is over, that your hope is job done for the foundation, or is the idea that it'll always be there? So if you ever need to check back in, you can, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we'll always be there for our clients. You know, we have some women who have been with us for, you know, 2-3 years. They've gone through different programs and services with us.
Wow.
And we also have a once a month alumni, I guess in inverted commas, alumni. So any clients that have come to us across the 6 years we've been going, they can come back, pop in. It's a once a month reconnection. And that sort of event is really important because women who have experienced domestic violence have been really isolated.
Yeah.
And to reconnect to the community is really important.
But talking to people who've gone through what you've gone through, I suppose it's like anything, isn't it? Where you know, a problem shared is a problem halved, as they say.
Yeah, and a lot of women say that about our programs and services, that you know, if they realise that there's actually someone out there that understands what they've gone through.
So there's 3 special guests. There's Isabel Marshall. You'd remember her, Will. She's that young woman who we interviewed on the show about the taboo period products business that she started.
She was terrific.
She was a South Australian of the Year, I think, a couple of years ago.
Young
one
Australian
of
of the Year,
actually.
actually.
Yeah, that's right.
2021, yes.
Yeah, that's right. And then Shona Reid, who's the head of Reconciliation SA, and also the public trustee, Nicole Rantanen. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that properly. I'll try to get that right by Friday. But 3 women from really different backgrounds and all with, you know, very different and inspiring stories to tell.
Yeah, look, we decided to choose women from different areas. We think Nicole has amazing experience on boards, and as women, you know, step out and say, we'd really like to be part of those boards, and boards are starting to, you know, balance out the gender equity in them. We think Nicole has amazing insight into that for people coming along. And Isabel's the young Australian of the year, absolutely doing amazing things with taboo period products. Yeah. With her partner there, Eloise. And Shona Reid, I mean, she has such great insight into, you know, the cultural future of leadership, and that's really what we wanted to touch on with her.
So if people want to get tickets, how do they do it? Just jump on the website, Aman, is that the go?
Yes, jump on the website, zarafoundation.org.au. We've got, we're essentially on every social media platform, whether if it's Twitter, Instagram or Facebook,
we're not on Snapchat, though. I wouldn't
No.
We're not for the kids
or TikTok or anything like that.
No, we're not that cool.
No, but we are out there, and I believe a tweet has just gone out from you guys tagging us in. So if they follow you on social media, then they can find us through there.
Don't know how that happened. Must be one of the young people in the production booth at my department.
Yeah, great to have you in. All the best for Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thank you. We'll see you there.
See you then.
You have just 4 days until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. You could be collecting the keys just in time for summer to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home on the Esplanade at South Brighton with $500,000 cash. Join the fight and get your tickets today
Proceeds support all South Australians, fighting cures and improving care in our hospitals. Visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14053.
ECH Encore Apartments in Modbury offers independent retirement living completely reimagined. Modern, stylish, 2-bedroom apartments with generous balconies, open plan living, modern white goods and appliances, and secure underground parking.
Encore Apartments have been designed for people who are independent and enthusiastic about life. There's an on-site cafe, a fitness centre, community garden, but no more lawns to mow, no more home repairs, no more water bills, no more council rates.
Exactly. Enjoy taking time for yourself to do the things you love and connecting with the people around you. ECH Encore Apartments are right next to Westfield Tea Tree Plaza and less than 20 minutes from the city.
It's time for your Encore. It's time to live more life. Visit the on-site display suite or find out more at echencore.com.au.
Investing. Some think it's only for the big end of town, but not in Australia and not at AMP, because we're a nation of investors at heart. We invest in our homes and our renos. When we put super aside, we're investing for retirement. That savings account we open when we're starting out, that's an investment. So's the ute we get for work, because we invest in our businesses too. We invest in causes we believe in, and our hobbies and our passions. It's why AMP has been investing in and for Australians since 1849 to help us realise our goals. AMP, for the investor in all of us.
AMP, investing solutions in banking, super, retirement and advice.
And here's Monday's cooking inspiration from Australian Pork. Delicious pork mince rissoles, crumbed pork koftas and pork mince sanshoy bao. Check out all the recipes at pork.com.au and get some pork on your fork.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 22 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
The state's COVID vaccination program is being extended again. From today, clinics are being set up at selected schools across the metro area. Up to 1,600 doses will be administered this week. Education Minister John Gardner says it will make the jab more accessible for teenagers.
We know that the vaccine is the best way to protect yourself, your family and your community, and the government's response is now very much focused on making it as easy as possible to get that vaccine. So if a student has their parental consent, then we'll be able to give them the vaccination while they're at school so that parents don't have to make a special trip.
Masks in the classroom are now optional. The mandatory ruling no longer applies in SA from today. Extinction Rebellion activists are holding another protest in the city. They've erected, scaled and locked onto a massive bamboo tripod in Flinders Street, blocking westbound traffic at the intersection with King William Street. They say the tripod symbolises the future of all life on Earth hanging in the balance. An arrest has been made after a stabbing at Underdale. Police were called to a share house on Henley Beach Road at 2:30 this morning, following reports one of the occupants had stabbed another male resident in the neck with a small knife. Senior Constable Matt Brown says a fire was then started.
Now, the suspect had also poured accelerant throughout the house prior to the stabbing, with one of the rooms damaged by fire. And patrols used capsicum spray to subdue the suspect, and he was arrested soon after. So the 32-year-old man will face numerous charges, including aggravated assault causing harm and arson.
Cabinet will be asked to formally endorse a plan to cut Australia's carbon emissions to net zero by 2050. Nine's Michael Packey reports from Canberra.
The majority of the Nationals party room has agreed to decarbonise the Australian economy over the next 30 years. It's conditional on support to help farming and mining communities transition to net zero. The backing of the junior coalition partner paves the way for Australia to adopt cleaner fuels and invest more in renewable energy projects. Cabinet will meet to discuss the Nationals' demands and then ratify the plan. It means the Prime Minister can travel to a global climate summit in Glasgow and explain how Australia plans to reduce emissions using technology rather than raising taxes.
Alec Baldwin's Western Rust is unlikely to be finished following the tragic death of a cinematographer on set. Helena Hutchins was fatally shot and the director injured when Baldwin fired a loaded gun. Film armourer Cameron Douglas has told 5AA Breakfast it seems a number of safety practices were not followed.
Well, there are protocols that can never be breached, and the first rule of thumb that
There's no live ammunition required on any film set. You never ever point the firearm directly at an actor when it's got blanks in it as well. You need to learn how to cheat camera angles and know what's the safe distance and so on.
One of the cast members of Friends has died. James Michael Tyler played coffee shop boss Gunther on the show. He has succumbed to prostate cancer at the age of 59. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected ASCO washer dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. A leaked email from the WTA claims unvaccinated tennis players will be allowed to enter the Australian Open. Nine's Craig Gabriel reports.
Players had been informed they needed to get the Tennis Australia-sponsored charter flights to come down under, but now, due to Victoria's high vaccinated rates, it's been indicated to players they can arrive as early as 1st December. They must have tests before departure and on arrival and won't be required to quarantine or stay in a bubble and will have total freedom. However, unvaxxed players will still have to do 14 days hard hotel quarantine and undergo regular tests.
Max Verstappen has doubled his lead at the top of the Formula One standings to 12 points after beating closest rival Lewis Hamilton. That was in a tense Formula One Grand Prix in the US. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo finished 5th. Meantime, Fabio Quartararo has claimed his first ever MotoGP world title after his closest rival, Francesco Bagnaia, crashed out just as he looked like he was going to win overnight in Italy. The result handing an emotional Quartararo the title.
I can't even talk. Feels amazing, and later maybe I could talk a little bit more, but right now I'm living the dream.
Yeah, great stuff. Audio thanks to Fox Sports. And Manchester United's manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has described his side's 5-0 loss at home to Liverpool as the darkest day he's been involved in. It's the first time Liverpool has scored 5 goals at Old Trafford since 1936. That was a season where United was relegated. Elsewhere, Leicester jumped into the top half of the table with a 2-1 win against Brentford, while West Ham is now 4th after beating Tottenham 1-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
In the city, look out for protesters on King William and Franklin Street. Take care for people on the road there. Mawson Lake's got some smashed glass bottles on Eldersmith Road near the Salisbury Highway. Plimpton Park got a smashed Marion Road and Bray Street. And Crayford this morning, speed restrictions on the freeway. Plus, we've also got a right-hand lane closed on the down track. It's actually through the tunnels causing a few delays. Cameras, Arthur Street, McGill and Grave Street at Newton. It's time to roll up and get vaccinated. Get the facts and book your appointment at covidvaccine.sa.gov.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
22 today, sunny, 31 tomorrow, then Wednesday a shower or two developing down to 30. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Come on to rise and win. Need a shed strong enough to resist the harsh Australian climate? Visit Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 to 9. Karen sent through a good text on the Telstra Stillmount Barker text line. It says, boys, it's obvious tennis players are superior to the rest of us. Probably spectators at the Australian Open will need to be vaccinated. You're right, Karen. In fact, I'll go a step further. They'll definitely need to be vaccinated. You're not getting into the Australian Open if you're unvaccinated. That's the way. That's the Victoria that Dan Andrews has said will be in 2022.
Well,
life will be really difficult, but there will be at any given moment probably 1 or maybe 2 unvaccinated people in the tournament, in the arena, and they'll be playing.
Yeah. Well, you know, if we're going to live by the cliche, we're all in this together, then we should all be in this together, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Chris in Wallaroos texted us too, says, howdy boys, so the protesters are stuck to the road again while cars idle needlessly for hours behind them. Sharp as a bag of wet mice, that lot. Wet rice, probably meant. Just an awkward auto. A little auto-correct that I actually kind of think oddly works.
Yeah, bag of wet mice.
Yeah.
It's a saying that's going to take Australia by storm.
They've erected some sort of teepee, it looks like.
Yeah, right, okay.
In Victoria Square to make their point.
How does that make their point?
I don't know. Hey, David,
Isn't that cultural appropriation?
I think it literally, yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah, well, you know, there's probably Navajo listening to the show be pretty upset about that. Get your own Anglo-Saxon structure. people.
Exactly. A big carbon emitter one.
Make an igloo, insult to the Eskimos.
I think a coal-fired power station would make
That's right.
Make the argument.
Yeah. A scale model of Playford number 3. That's what it was called, wasn't it?
Yes. Let's change tack. Public Service Association General Secretary Nev Kitchen wrote to the Chief Executive of the SACE Board of South Australia, and you will have seen the story play out in the Sunday Mail yesterday. The subject of the letter contained concerns about staff turnover, dissatisfaction in the last 12 months and a destructive culture within the organisation. According to the letter, 51 staff had left in the past 12 months. And what's more, and concerningly for parents and Year 12 students, is the suggestion that the things that could be impacted with the decay of corporate knowledge would be things like delayed results for Year 12, maybe even incorrect results for Year 12 students. Professor Martin Westwell is the CEO of the SACE Board and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Professor Westwell, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
So, Professor Westwell, out of interest, how many staff are there at SACE?
So we have around 110 staff at the SACE Board. And, while it's true that we've had some turnover of staff, it's not like we've lost 51 from that 110. There's been quite a few staff who have been project funded. Those projects have come to an end. Now we've got some new projects, but we needed different expertise. So of course we've had that kind of turnover over the year.
But that sounds like hugely dramatic turnover, doesn't it?
I'm not actually sure where those numbers have come from because they are quite high. But let's not argue about the numbers. We've definitely had a turnover of staff, and towards the end of the year, some staff have left, and that's been in response to some of the changes that we've been making. And absolutely clear that the SACE needs to change to best support our students. And in order to do that, we need to change the way in which we work at the SACE Board. Some people have really embraced that and are moving forward with us, and some people have decided that that's not for them. So, of course, now what we're doing is actively recruiting to make sure that we've got the best people. Why? Because we need to support our schools, to support our students, so they can really thrive in the future because of the learning that they do in the SACE.
The 19 curriculum assessment officers that have left, did they leave as a result then of some project they were working on ceasing, or are they people that you would have otherwise expected to continue?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of both. Certainly, there's been some new opportunities in South Australia. The Department of Education have got a new curriculum team that they've introduced. And of course, when you're looking for some of the best people in curriculum who can write subjects and those kinds of things around the state, they're here at the SACE Board. So there's been some attractive offers, and it's great that those people are still in the system supporting schools. And so what we're doing is recruiting for a new set of great people, maybe bringing them in from schools, maybe a couple of people from interstate. So again, make sure that we're supporting our students to get the best learning they can in senior secondary.
But when this many people leave at one time, for other opportunities or otherwise, it's got to be more than a coincidence, doesn't it? So, I mean, did any of them say anything about dissatisfaction in the workplace or the culture that existed within the SACE?
Yeah. So as I say, the changes that we're making, that's been a bumpy ride sometimes, and it's been and whenever you change, whenever you innovate, that's going to happen. And so, when we want to do things like, open up our processes and get more teachers involved in the way in which we develop new subjects and some of those things, well, that's been a change. We've always held in the past some of our processes kind of really close. We've done things in-house in the SACE Board. And I want to change that. I want to make sure that we're drawing on all the expertise from across the state. And of course, that's a change, and some people don't like that change, and that's understandable. And they're moving to other opportunities, and we'll build the team to make sure that we can support students to thrive in this new way, and we are able to work with teachers. But if we think about the end of year and coming up to results, the lion's share of the work is done by thousands of teachers across South Australia and Northern Territory who do the marking and the moderation, that quality assurance process that we have. And the SACE Board's job there is to coordinate that. And we've got the expertise, the professionalism, the capacity, the capability to deliver that this year. So I think the scaremongering that we're seeing around end-of-year processes actually is really disrespectful. It's disrespectful to students, to families, and the teachers who've worked hard all year.
But I mean, it's not like it's one or two people saying it. You've got more than 40 current and former staff who've signed this letter. Can you guarantee, Professor, that they are wrong, that there will be no issues with Year 12 students getting incorrect grades or getting their results late?
Yeah, so absolutely. Getting the results out and getting the results out, the right results and getting them out on time is our absolute number one priority. It's the absolute focus of the SACE Board. In fact, we'll be delivering results a day early this year because the universities have asked us to do that so that we've got a little bit more time to think about admissions and students to change their preferences. And we're really happy to support that. So we've got those processes in place. I really do think this is scaremongering. So a lot of the people who signed the letter haven't worked at the SACE Board for 6 months more and have absolutely no idea of the processes that we've got. So it's clearly just winding things up, and I'm just so disappointed for students who should be focusing right now on the learning, on just demonstrating the learning that they've done over the last few years, over all their years of schooling. I want them to be focusing on that. I want them to be thinking about how they're going to show us what they've learned rather than worrying about the delivery of results.
Professor Martin Westwell, the CEO of the SACE Board, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
14 minutes to 9. We're going to go behind closed doors and check traffic in just a moment.
Guess what? Sleeping Duck is not a saggy foam-only mattress, but is supported by twice-tempered steel springs. That's why I put the Sleeping Duck springs to the test against a 15-ton steamroller. Check it out at mattress-testing.com.
At Lend-Lease Retirement Living, we create places to live well. And with 4 locations in South Australia, the perfect choice could be just around the corner. Join us for a tour and discover a welcoming community, perfectly located near everything you'll need. Make friends, have fun, and embrace a joyful retirement. With a choice of homes and ways to pay, there's never been a better time to belong. Search Lend-Lease Retirement Living South Australia. Your place to live well.
Now, it's not long until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. The deadline is midnight this Friday, and it's your last chance to get tickets.
Yeah, you could be collecting the keys just in time for summer to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home on the Esplanade at South Brighton with $500,000 cash.
So just imagine this, you're mortgage-free, sitting on the balcony of your Esplanade home, watching the sunset, wondering how you're going to spend $500,000. There's also a smorgasbord of other prizes to win with luxury cars including an Audi, a BMW, a Lexus, a Jayco motorhome and $50,000 in amazing getaways.
Yep, and most importantly, proceeds from the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery benefit all South Australians finding cures and improving care in our hospitals. Get your tickets today at homelottery.com.au.
I don't have a favourite teacher because I've loved them all. They've taught me new things and I've always had fun in their class.
St Andrew's School is a place where I can learn. I've enjoyed learning about sports because I'm always focused.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Serafina, school captain at St Andrew's. Book your place on one of our school tours this Thursday at 6 p.m. or Saturday at 10 a.m. Just Google St Andrew's School.
The new Kia Niro hybrid SUV has landed. It combines a smooth and efficient blend of petrol and electric power without the need for external charging. It's a no-compromise SUV with outstanding fuel economy, low emissions, tons of comfort, and impressive versatility. The new Kia Niro hybrid SUV, available for immediate delivery. Check with your local Kia dealer for details.
Kia, movement that inspires.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Need more living space or storage? Visit olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
11 minutes to 9. It's time to chat with the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh. Morning to you, Koshy.
Morning, team.
Well, to quote Dr. King, free at last, thank God Almighty, free at last. Koshy, how does it feel?
Well, yeah, we're living like South Australians at the moment over here. So, it's everyone's being very sensible, which is really good, and still keeping the social distancing and just the areas that I walk around and being very cautious about it. So it's terrific, and lots of opening up, bringing back travel and international travel with Qantas bringing forward destinations. It's there's a bit of a buzz around the city, which is great.
I wanted to ask you about the international travel component of this, because I think if Stephen Marshall announced that we'd be having international travel in 4 weeks into South Australia, there'd be panic. Does the person on the street in New South Wales want international flights to return?
They do. Because they want to travel themselves. It's been a really interesting change in psychology in New South Wales, and I think Victoria as well, that the people are accepting, like every other country in the world, that you just can't eliminate COVID-19. Going forward, you've got to learn to live with it, where I think New South Wales is currently 94% single vaxxed, which is extraordinary. And you would imagine if you've had the first dose, it's inevitable you're going to have the second dose. And so over 90% double vaccinated, and with that comes the ability to travel overseas and also to have loved ones come back. In my personal situation, it means my daughter in London, she's booked back early December to come for Christmas. The parents of my daughter-in-law, she's an Australian citizen, but Mexican, they're expecting their first child the end of November. It looks as though her parents will be able to come out for the birth of their first grandchild, but my daughter and grandkids from Perth won't be back.
That is just crazy, isn't it?
Which is a crazy thing for, every state makes its own decisions, but I just think that's a bit baffling in supposedly one country.
Yeah, no, just bizarre. Hey, Koshy, you had Barnaby on, you have him on every Monday, Barnaby Joyce, the leader of the National Party. What sort of sounds was he making today about the government's net zero commitment?
Yep, sounds of we're on board. He's obviously done a deal. He wouldn't explain the deal in terms of support for regional areas and the cost of it and the programs that will be introduced, and wouldn't say whether it was a unanimous decision or how many in the party voted against it. But, I think today's polls in the Australians showing, most Australians, the majority of Australians, say we have to do something about it. We are near last of the 130 countries involved in the climate summit in Glasgow that's really made any effort. I think we're 128th out of 130. And yes, we've got to protect jobs, and it will be a transition to clean energy. It's not going to happen overnight. So those mining jobs for the foreseeable future are protected, but it's about building a blueprint towards it. And this whole, it usually boiled back, if we do more renewables, your power bills are going up. But I think it's being proved beyond doubt now that that is not the case. And in fact, renewable energy can be cheaper to produce than fossil fuel energy. So, it's all about getting a balance. It's all about doing the right thing. I've challenged Barnaby a number of times when he goes, well, it shouldn't be up to us because China's the biggest polluter. I just reckon that is the greatest cop-out on it. Just because you don't have as many people doesn't mean you shouldn't make the effort. And you're really fiddling statistics because per head of population, Australia is one of the biggest polluters. It's all about us taking a leadership role and bringing change. And we all see the effects of climate change, and it's the changes and the extremes are happening way too often now.
Absolutely. Good on you. David Koch from Sunrise on Channel 7. We'll catch up again next week, mate. Thank you.
6 to 9. Let's go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
13.95. Adelaide's FIVEaa. This is the Saturday Sports Show. KG and Cornsey.
Hi folks, welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show.
Come on, Starley, we're fired up.
We are, yes, and you have a beef with the cricket.
Oh, well, I do, Starley. I am horrified that our national cricket team playing cricket is not being broadcast on free-to-air TV.
Well, that gets down to...
You can only get it on Foxtel, and that is not right.
But the free-to-airs don't necessarily want it.
Well, put it on the ABC.
But not everyone wants to watch the cricket.
No, but it's our national team, Studley.
Well, a lot of people like opera too. Should the ABC be forced to put on Wagner's Ring Cycle?
Wagner?
Yes. Would you like to see 6 hours of Wagner's Ring Cycle?
I think you might be referring to Wagner, Studley.
My point is, should they be forced to put on a Wagner opera or the cricket?
Well, I think for a start, you should be forced to pronounce Wagner properly.
We've had a lot of heated calls this morning about COVID.
Yes, we have.
Whether or not vaccination should be mandated to go to the football.
Well, I think they should be.
You do?
I do, Studley. It's common sense that everyone who goes to the football must be double vaccinated or they can't go to the football. It's as simple as that. It makes perfect common bloody sense.
Hello, Jeremy.
Oh, hi, guys. I just want to say that I don't think this is about being vaccinated or not. It's about the fact that we are living under a totalitarian government.
Oh, don't be so bloody stupid, Jeremy. You don't know what a totalitarian government is.
I didn't say totalitarian, I said totalitarian government.
Yes, he's right there, Starler. He did say totalitarian, you said totalitarian.
And just let me explain what I'm talking about.
No, I'm not going to let you sprout that rubbish. You have liberties and freedoms in this country that you don't get in other countries. Don't give me this crap about a totalitarian regime.
No, it's totalitarian, Studley.
Go and live in North Korea or some of the Middle Eastern countries. Go and live in Russia or China. And then you'll discover what a totalitarian government is like, Jeremy.
No, Starley, it's totalitarian.
Oh, look, I'm just...
What I find unusual, though, is
making a point.
Is you getting so many pronunciations wrong in a couple of minutes. That doesn't usually happen. Usually that's me.
And Jeremy, you're not going to get a chance to respond because I've wound you down, and I'm not going to allow that sort of crap to go on this radio show.
Well done, Studley. You're the boss.
You might not be living under a totalitarian government.
Totalitarian, Studley.
But it certainly is a totalitarian radio show.
Totalitarian, Generalissimo.
Generalissimo.
3 minutes to 9. We're just about out of time on this Monday morning. Leon Bonner is coming up very, very shortly. He's got Alan Tudge on the program this morning.
About the new curriculum.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. We will be back tomorrow morning from 6.
Right now it's mates time at Toyota Material Handling with their Ultimate year-end event.